Yes.
Hello. It's Tuesday. Welcome to Spurs Kings TV. It's been a minute. Ashmatic analysis. Ash, you well?
Yeah, man, I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm good. Look, Spurs are what? Third?
Oh, it's been a minute. It's been a minute, man. Listen, like Frank, obviously, he's got us where he's got us. And I feel like it's a mixed bag at the moment. I don't know. What do you think? Like, in terms of the fan base, some people are like loving Frank because it's not Ange. That's what I feel like the narrative is. And then you got the other people that are they're mad because it's not Ange. You know what I'm saying? But they're still mad because Ange ain't doing well at Nottingham Forest. So they're all over the place. Do you get it?
But I wouldn't want to be a Forest fan. I'll just tell you that for a minute.
There's another lot as well, again, and they're not enjoying the style of football. Do you understand? So
I get that. They're the people that they're the ones that are going to be making the most amount of noise soon. This for me personally, after watching Brentford for how many years, he ain't gonna get much better than this. Right, just saying. He's a good coach, don't get me wrong, and he's very defensively solid. He just needs you got to remember, Buemo, Visa, and Tony, they were game changer kind of players. We've only got Kudus at the moment, so it's going to be interesting.
So if you're saying it don't get much better, we've only got Kudus. We're still too shy then.
Yeah, we're too shy.
Yeah, it will get better. It will get better.
No, but it will still be exactly the same. Like it will be Bentancur and Paulinho, and then we've got to rely and hopefully catch them on the break. Trust me, I don't think it's going to get much better than this.
But that's what I'm trying to say. That doesn't make sense to me because you're saying with the two other attackers, wouldn't you say that would make a big improvement in terms of like the attack?
We'll just end up scoring. We'll probably end up. You know what it is. For Frank's football, and I've always said this when it comes to chances that we score, because I think I hate XG, but when it comes to Frank,
12.
Most of the chances that we create, we will score from.
Efficiency, I get it.
And it's going to be a very efficient system. And look, once we start, I think for me at the moment, once we start winning at home, I think once the home thing gets back into, I think once the home fans start enjoying the football or start enjoying the results, it went better because I think away from home, we're brilliant away from home. Yeah. That's the football we should be playing away from home.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like, I want to hear what the guests have got to say.
Yeah,
there's a lot of talking points. We just
it's because we ain't spoken for 2 weeks.
Let's get people on, man.
Let's get people on. Look, apologies for everyone. Just quick housekeeping. We ain't been on for 2 weeks. We've had to change system as well, so we're getting used to it. So bear with us. And big up to Never a Foul Raid as well, who have just come in as well. So big up to everyone in there. So let's bring in the guest, man. Let's bring on the guest. Let's get this show up and running. First of all, let's give a big welcome to. Is it going to work? Luke, you well?
I'm all good. I thought for a minute that you were just going to keep us in the background and just keep rolling with it.
Hey, you know what?
I was sitting there going, yeah.
That's why I had to say, let's bring the guests in because I was going to say, right, you know what? There's a lot to say, and boy,
it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute.
I could say a lot of what he's just said, and I just said, right, is that how we started? Yeah, all right, let's go for it.
You know what it is? Me and Ash now are completely separate on the views of Frank right now. We're completely opposite. This is a first.
I'm not going to be coming in talking my stuff about Ange. Let's forget about that guy. Who's that guy?
You can if you want, bro. Ange, you die, bro.
But yeah, you well, Luke? You all good? All good your end?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. These international breaks, man, they're coming thick and fast. I'm not liking it at all. But hey, we won a game before one, so it's less depressive this time round, right?
True. Anyway, next out. R1, are you well?
I'm good, man. Thank you again, Ash, Marlon, for having me on the show.
Bro.
Once again, it is just here to talk Spurs and that international break. But you can see I got my call up. So once again, big up the man them. obviously. Hold tight, everyone on the panel and that.
Yeah, thank Mumsy as well. Thank God.
Yeah.
All of them that.
Thank everybody.
Everyone that I can thank you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
Next,
man.
yeah. Next out. Hold on. Oh, where's my thing gone? Next out. I haven't seen him for a minute, but it's always good to come on the stream with him, and he's always causing some sort of trouble. But TJ, you well?
Well, go on, people. I'm back. I'm back on Spurs Kings TV. I still hold a grudge. These man kicked me off.
Yeah, you keep blaming me. You keep blaming me, but it weren't me.
100%, man. Nah. Jokes aside, man. Man's been missing you, man, and like literally back at the grind. You know. What can I say, man? The Spurs keep going on. You know, we keep doing the same thing, innit? You know, so it's look, I'm glad to be back on here, man. It's all new to me, man. Even the whole setup thing. I'm thinking, what is this? A mixture of StreamYard, some fake version. You know, these man. In fact, these man upgraded, bro. These man have upgraded. But yeah, man. Big up yourself, man. Big up the panel as well, man.
And last but not least,
Yeah.
you thought TJ was trouble, but this man is trouble wherever he goes. Just chats. To be fair, I have not seen him for a minute either, so it'll be quite glad. I'm quite glad that he's come on tonight. But a big, oh my God, where's it gone? Hold on, still using this new system. But a big welcome to Mr. Box Office. He's hiding.
Oh, I'm here. Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, so my demise was ultimately exaggerated, wasn't it? Obviously. Oh, that people said, "Oh, where is Mr. Box Office? He's got bantered by Saba. Saba that gets rattled by too easily." But yeah, who said that he didn't like Conte? But this is the same football as Conte, by the way. Thomas Frank, by the way. Hypocrite. But anyway, moving on. Sorry. But you know,
this ain't Football Heritage TV, yeah?
Yeah, but just to make this whole point, you know what I mean? Because, you know, my ultimate demise was obviously really exaggerated, you know what I mean? Because they said that, where is Mr. Box Office, the Professor of Truth and Entertainment? He disappeared. Oh, he must have got banned, you know, because I was rage quitting. I was apparently was rage quitting, you know what I mean? I was picked off by some of these big YouTubers who are absolutely nobodies. But anyway, moving on. No, it's not ultimately done. It's just that the fact that Mr. Box Office, the Professor of Truth and Entertainment, grew up, right? Because he's got bigger and more smarter, and listened to the real people that told me that I need to do what I need to do for my own self, and actually doing it out myself rather than selling out. You know what I mean? So big up to everyone in the chat. You know what I mean? I'm still the same old guy, never ever changed, and never will change. You know what I mean? So get with it. You know what I mean? You're going to have a treat, because I've been holding this so much back, yeah, because I've been saying it on my channel. You know what I mean? So no one's safe anyway. Back to you, Marlon. I'm done. I've only got started. Let's get going.
Okay, so welcome to Spurs Kings TV, people. So let's get the show started, because I feel like, do we need to carry on with anything else? Box Office is done. All right, so look, let's carry on the conversation that me and Ash were talking about. Look, I'm going to breeze over Bodo a little bit, because I think it was very big on the style of play that Frank is playing at the moment, and even Box Office touched on it a little bit with saying it's very similar to Conte. I'll start with Ash, and then we'll work our way around on what is everyone thinking so far, and is it going to become a problem if it stays like this, as I think it's going to?
Do you know what it is, bro? I'll be real. I think everyone's used to possession-based football, where we dominate games and we're in the opposition's half. Do you get it? So we're closer to the goal, and that's the way we're used to seeing us play. Now, obviously, Mandem are saying Conte ball very similar, meaning that it's more counter-attacking, more transitional. The opposition might have the ball a bit more, but the way we progress the ball is no longer through the middle, in my opinion. I think it's down the sides, and that's the way Frank wants to build up. And I think a lot of people aren't used to that. They're used to like seeing the midfielders control the game. They're looking at the midfield sideways, like, rah, how come we're not like dominating these teams, especially the smaller teams? Why is he going for like a Paulinho and a Bentancur against Leeds? we should be like all over them. We should be stepping on top. But I think he personally sees the game a little bit different, similar to maybe like an Eddie Howe, Newcastle, how they build up. They're not really a possession-based team. They're more of a team that want to hit teams in the transition. They're a bit more aggressive. And I think he's trying to go down that route while still, keeping that defensive stability, because that was a big issue from what we had last season. I think we let in 60 plus goals. So he's probably coming in and said, the house is leaking, the roof's leaking. I see in the splinters in the wall, there's asbestos on the walls. Do you know what I'm saying? How many problems can I fix at once? Let me just do what I can in the yard, and then hopefully get to January, and then I can just, pattern up from there. But that's just my personal opinion for what I see so far. Do you know what I mean? However, my last bit though, I'm not blind, but I can see the football at the moment. It ain't pretty. Do you know what I'm saying? There's certain times I'm like, bro, this is a hard watch. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, I'm I'm a football fan at first. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm a football fan first. So some of the games for me haven't been as expansive as I think we can, even though I think he needs to mix it up. Sometimes, transition, sometimes play out wide, but sometimes play through the middle. Otherwise, you are going to find fans turning, especially at home. If they're seeing the football is dross and we lose like Liverpool 3 on a trot, there's going to be problems.
Wait, losing away from home.
I mean, at home. Three on a trot, like Slot did, and look how Liverpool fans are turning on Slot already. Crazy.
Crazy. R1, I want to bring you in. So, what's your feelings towards the style of play at the moment? Because it seems to be a big talking point amongst Spurs fans. Will it change? Do you think long term it will change? And can you cope with how it is at the moment? Because as Ash said, it's not possession based anymore. We are kind of counter-attacking football at the moment. Well, kind of, in a certain extent.
So when you say change, does that mean that?
Do you think we'll go back to Tottenham the way you used to?
Or do I think it will change?
Both, to be fair. Both. Do you want it to change, or do you like what you're seeing right now?
Okay, right now, what I would say is I don't need to necessarily see it change as such, because I don't think we've even seen it in full flow yet. Reason why I say that is because I genuinely think we are just playing with a lot of crap players again, and I think that's always the situation. I think we've sorted out one area of the team, which I would say is the defense is probably our strongest part. Going forward, I'm not really impressed with the centre midfield. Obviously, we got Kudus. Obviously, we got Xavi Simons. I feel like without them and Palhinha, I feel like without them three, it's a very different thing. So I feel like no matter what formation you use, we're not going to really get much results that we want to see. So firstly, before I even want to see the style of play change, I want to see some of these players change. That's just what I think first. And then I can see the manager's ideas in full flow when I feel like we've got better players, first of all, with a left winger, with maybe a centre midfielder that can pass the ball rather than a Bentancur type that I don't really know what he does. But when you've got other kind of types of players like that, other types of profiles I'd like to see. Then if we're still churning out poor performances like some of the ones that we've seen, then I can say, all right, cool. Maybe the formation should change a little bit. But as of right now, I think we should just let him do what he's doing, because we are firstly getting the defensive side of things right, which last season, as we know, we conceded however many goals, I even forgot. So we've got that side of things correct now. Let's just move forward from there. So before I want to change style of play, I want to change some of the players. If that answers the question, I don't know.
It does answer, because TJ, where are you sitting on it as well? Because like R1 says, it's more the players. Before we see a change of style of play and the way we're building up, it's the players more than anything. If we had the players, we'd be playing a lot better.
Again, I think it's just too soon to judge. A bit of me, obviously we haven't spoken for a while, and I've always stood by this, and I'm gonna reiterate. I personally didn't want Frank. I was against the Frank coming in. Right, that's just my personal opinion. Now we have Frank in, we have to support it, right? In a way, for me, it's too soon to judge, and I do definitely feel like we've got a lot of players that are not Frank's molded players. You know, we're too, in a way, one-dimensional, and I feel like we rely upon key players like Kudos, like Palhinha. There's a few players on the pitch that we rely upon, and if they're not on the pitch, we don't play really well. And the reason why we actually sacked Ange, and look, this is not me diverting the conversation about Ange, but we wanted better on the pitch. We wanted a coach to coach the players. So we actually have to give Frank time. It's too soon to judge. Again, look, let's be honest with you. He hasn't been in the job for more than 3 months.
TJ.
Or am
No,
I
so
am I
TJ,
wrong?
Okay, that's fine. How long did you give him?
2 years. I'm
So
fair about
you're-
that. The reason
So
being,
you give the football 2 years.
okay, cool. Can I tell you?
No.
Okay, let me make the groundwork, because I haven't spoke to you in a while. Personally, I didn't want Frank to come in. I didn't think he was the right fit for Tottenham. In fact, I wanted either Glasner or, in my opinion, again, it's my first ever trophy, so a bit of sentimental value. I actually wanted to give Ange until January. Personally, I didn't want to change. Again, that's my opinion. This is not diverting the conversation, right? However, the reason why I'm going to give Frank 2 years, because it's fair to judge Ange's first season and Ange's second season. And if what we all wanted, most fans wanted Ange to go. We wanted better football on the pitch. And for me, Ange done 2 things. He broke that trophy drought that we massively had. Whether it was a successful tenure or not, we can debate that. This has got nothing to do with Ange, and I want to close Ange because Ange was back there. But the reason why I'm saying it for you to understand why I'm going to give him 2 years. It's fair to give Frank 2 years because we gave Ange 2 years, you know. And for me, it's too soon to just say, Frank, you need to get it right now and here. Because it took Ange 2 years to win us a trophy. In them 2 years' time, this is what I want to see. If we go forwards or backwards. That will ultimately tell me if the club is moving in an upwards trajectory. Personally, that's my opinion. Again, obviously, a lot of people have a different take to that. A lot of people really wanted to sack Ange and like get better football. For me, as it was my first trophy, I think it was I don't know, man. I felt like we could have at least given him until January. But yeah, personally, that's my opinion. Again, my opinion is not on the level of because I get hate a lot. I say this. I keep it clear. I've said this many times on many channels. Like, look, now Ange is gone. We close that chapter, but we have to give the same. We have to judge him in the same type of way. We have to give him 2 years. That will tell me if he's going to be successful or not. But yeah, that's all I have to say about
Lukey, as busy, Ange's biggest fan last year, the only one fighting for him. You got your just desserts. How are you feeling about Frank this year?
In a way, I agree. I agree with what TJ just said in terms of we need to give him time, but he needs to also prove it, right? So we're third in the table now. He's had 7 games. If he'd lost 7, then I'm not giving him time. We need to be able to see improvements, right? We need to see where we can see what he's doing. We can see where he's going. So as long as there's improvements being made in either player performance or the way that we go about things, then I agree. I think you have to give him time. You can't expect, and I've been saying this for ages, this is one of our biggest problems at Spurs. We go from one crazy idea in Conte to go to one crazy idea in Ange, which they're complete opposites. And then we expect players to just develop. We go from playing a 5 at the back, playing a 4 at the back, and then moaning that our wing backs ain't great defensively. Well, obviously they're not going to be because we bought wing backs. So we need to stop chopping and changing every 5 minutes. At the moment, we're sitting third. Can't sit there and moan too much in a brand new tenure under a manager who's going to play differently and do things differently. There's a different idea at the club. That the level of players that we're targeting seems to be different, but we've got the same holes that all of us fans know. Like we all said in the summer, we need a striker and we need a left winger. We need a backup defender. So if we're not scoring as many goals as people want, or we're not looking as attacking, or not looking as good going forward, we already knew that. That was the whole thing of why we wanted a left winger and a striker. So I feel like, listen, a whole Ange thing. Ange is gone, and I don't care about the managers. I generally don't care. Before Ange came here, I didn't want him. The difference for me with Ange is that he won the trophy that we all scream about. When they was doing protest on Levy, they weren't talking about how many fourth places he got. They weren't talking about how many Champions League spots he got. They were saying you've only got one trophy in 25 years. So if that's the be all and end all, it obviously isn't, because we got rid of Ange. So where's the balance? And I hear what people are saying. Why can't I have both? Why can't I have a decent league season and a decent trophy, like winning a trophy? Well, the reason you can't is because Spurs have never done that. So
would you have kept Ange?
I personally would have kept Ange, because I was more looking at it from that outlook. If I was coming into Tottenham, if I finish top 4, that's not enough. If I get to a champion, if I get to a Carling Cup final in Mourinho, that's not enough. If I'm Ange and I win a trophy after 17 years, that's not enough. Like, what do Spurs want to be? What do we want to be as a club? Like, winning in the Europa League and winning the odd trophy here or there, for me, unless
But do you not feel like a sense of vindication? Yeah, you see the way how he's getting slapped at Forest. Like, does that not make you feel like that could have been us? Like,
I
if
think
we had kept him, and really and truly, how much time do we have? Are we just going to give him 10 games to just lose all them 10 games?
But
and then why should we throw away a whole season with Champions League and all these things just for that? Because
wait, can I jump in? Sorry, I know he's directing the question at you. The question is to me, and I stand by this. So the last 4 years, I was saying, I don't care how we win a cup, as long as that manager wins a cup, it's a successful season to me. Now, for me, this is the problem. The first season that Ange took over, for me, it was a successful season. He brought us from, I think we were around 8th place to 6th. The second season, whether you feel like 22 losses in a season was a bad result, we still won one major honor. So in my books, it was a successful season. Now, what's the harm in giving him the third season? That's the question. We pulled the trigger too soon.
So. I think we don't
How
know
do
what
you
that
know
harm
that,
could have been.
Ange?
We don't know really and truly, because reason I say that is because look at him at Forest. Not like he's gone to Forest, switched up his style, getting a couple results.
But
so we could have said, you know what?
Forest was mad.
Third season. I don't know. He's learned his lesson. He ain't really learned nothing. He's just going there doing the same thing. Bam, bam, bam. Look, he hasn't even won a game yet.
Like, the Forest thing was mad from both sides, from the owner's side and from Ange, because again, exactly what I just started with, in terms of going from one system to another. You've gone from Nuno ball to Ange ball. Your defender is Milenkovic. He's solid as a defensive centre back. You're trying to play a high line with him, because that's all Ange does. He's not gonna. People keep saying, well, he should change. He should do this. This guy he does what he does. If you employ him, expect him to do what he does. He's going to play crazy tactics. He's going to play high lines. And whoever's turned around and said to Ange, you should be going.
Wait. Luke, how can you back Ange and say crazy tactics?
This is what I mean. I was going to say that. I was going to say, like,
what I'm trying to say is,
that's why.
I'm saying,
what I'm trying to say is,
that's why I don't want him.
This is his tactics. This is what he does. Yeah. And when he came into us, we then gave him a window to bring in players that would fit him. Look at Van der Ven, the perfect centre back for his system, right? He is sitting there. Soon as you go through that centre back list, you've got Milenkovic. Yeah. They've got Willy Bolly as their defensive backup. Like, they've got a 19-year-old that's never played in the Premier League. Like, they've only got 4 or 5 centre backs, and none of them would fit a running back. Like, we said it loads of times, Ben Davies don't fit that profile. So who sat there and went, we're playing Nuno defensive football, let me bring in Ange? They're all crackers, the lot of them. Why they thought it was going to work out was mad. It was never going to work out.
He deserves that.
And also with Forest, and this is another point, I don't really care about whether Ange does well there or not, to be honest, but with Forest, why you would, as a manager, Forest were never going to get higher. Forest, for me, were going to finish something like 10th this year. I thought they were going to struggle quite badly under Ange. Under Nuno. So why you would take a job when it's that the last manager done the absolute maximum you could possibly do, it means you're only going to fall down. So I don't know why he took that job in the first place. So I understand what you're saying. It is vindication for the people that don't like Ange, but the whole job was stupid. I don't know why they even got involved in that. And there's no proof on either side, because again, this whole argument's going to be.
But if we're going to be honest, if you're Ange, you're going to take that job straight away, because you don't know where the next job. For me, if I was Ange, I'll be thanking the Lord that I even got a job, because I'll be thinking, after what I just done there, I don't know how I'm getting work. So if anyone comes and hollers at me, said, "Yo, here, look, do this," I'm doing it. So if I was Ange, I would have taken that job.
To be fair though, Ange was always going to get a job because he has just won the Europa League.
100%. People forget this is.
It's bigger. It's big. The fact he got it in.
They couldn't do it.
The fact he got it in. The fact he got a job in England was a bit more surprising.
Yeah, I agree.
But the European, I'm very surprised that he didn't end up in Europe, because they valued it very.
I think he would have ended up in Turkey if he didn't end up.
He'd have probably ended up at Olympiacos
because of this, and I think he would have ended up exactly. It could have ended up there, Olympiacos, somewhere around that area. I would have thought. That
I was shocked he got a Premier League job. I ain't gonna lie. But anyway, this isn't about Ange, right? What I was saying is I liked Frank from afar. I always did. I've got exactly the same questions now as when he was appointed. Can he do it in the big games? Can he get over the line? Can he win the trophies? Can he win the semi-finals? There's no proof he can. There never has been, because he hasn't been there. Now, can he do it with a better squad? Potentially. Has he got a squad good enough to challenge right now? No, we know he's got holes in the squad, because we know we want a left winger and a striker. But when you look at the results at the moment, for a person that's just come in, a brand new club, as I said earlier, he's winning games. If we were sitting here on 2 points, 3 points, then maybe we could be sitting there going, look, is he the guy? I feel like we have to give him at least another, maybe a transfer window. And again, I go back to it. What do Spurs want to be? Are Spurs going to go? Savinho's off the table. But is Spurs going to go and make some serious signings in January? Are they going to make some serious signings next summer? Because we thought with Ange, they was going to do that. The first summer under Ange, we made some big signings. And then for the next 18 months, we signed one player that improves the 11, which is Dom Solanke. So what are Spurs going to do? And if we're not going to give him the tools, then I don't think he'll be a success. But I don't think that's on him. I think that's on us as a club. If that summarizes it.
Go on, box office. Go on. Your time, man. I know you've been waiting.
Listen, I thought it was Nottingham Forest King TV, then Spurs Kings TV, the way we were talking about Ange. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, just to answer the question on we need to give it time. I've heard this so many times. Let's be honest here, right? If I'm going to give it time, yeah, that's logical, yeah. But then don't watch the matches for 6 months then, or a year. Don't watch it. You know what I mean? But I'm going to be watching the matches. I'm going to be watching the matches because I'm a Spurs fan. So I'm going to be watching the matches. So I'm going to judge it on every single match. And what I'm seeing, like I said, is Conte ball. I'm seeing Conte ball. You know what I mean? So
more sustainable than Conte ball, though.
Well, yeah, but
I was an admirer.
Whatever you say. I mean, I think Luke's put it right. The people that are saying that they love Frank just didn't like Conte. Didn't like Ange. It's quite clear. Like, listen, I've got nothing against Frank, but I'm not being funny. The uncomfortable truth is this guy's not very good at in-game management. The uncomfortable truth is he's a very nice guy. I mean, we all know that nice guys always finish last.
Go back to what you just said. Why is his in-game management? What's wrong with that?
Well, we all know his in-game management isn't that great still. You know what I mean? Because look, we saw the game against Bournemouth. We saw the game against Bodo Glimt. Right, and the only reason why Bodo Glimt
he changed.
Well, yeah, but let's be honest here. Bodo Glimt should have really won that game. Come on now.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about
Bodo Glimt. Yeah, but Bodo Glimt should have won that game, though. Marlon, let's not.
Brighton should have won their game, but it was his in-game management that changed that result.
The only reason why Brighton lost that game, yes, we got back into the game. I gave him credit for it. Yeah. On my channel, but at the same time, we can put blind to the truth, though, Marlon.
No,
the point is, though, Marlon, who came off in that midfield? Who came on with that midfield? Yeah, I know you had your 5 minutes of fame, Bob, but the main offence, the professional.
No. But I'm batting you back now.
I know you can batter me back all day long. You know what I mean?
Because Bournemouth,
it looks like someone's missed the arguments. You know what I mean? Missed the Marmite of football. The point is, though, yeah. I love this. I love this. But the point I'm making is,
your point.
I can make the point. Let me make the point.
The other point was alright.
Is that if a certain midfielder, Belieber, didn't come off, right? We don't know if Tottenham would have still got back into that game, right? Yet we got back into the game. Well done.
Then it's his in-game management.
But let's be honest here, Bodo Glick should have been out of sight in that game, right, in the Champions League, right?
Realistically, I actually agree with Mr. Box Office, you know? Realistically, because there's been many games that he's been poor.
This is the reason. There's a reason why I've not been on stream. Yeah, I've literally didn't watch any channel. I don't watch any channel anymore. Yeah, right. I just watch the matches. Yeah, and when you watch the matches, you actually watch the football. And being at the stadium as well, you can make a good judgment on what you're seeing rather than listening to other people's opinion because it clouds your judgment. You know what I mean? So when I'm watching it, I'm looking at it like, okay, I've got nothing against Thomas Frank. He ain't annoying me like other managers were doing. Yeah, but the thing is though. There's certain things that, bro, he's not annoying me. No, I do think players will improve with this manager. Yes, he will. He's obviously a coach, right? By the way, I said this on Mr. Box Office TV, my latest video. So keep on like and subscribe as well. You know what I mean? But anyway, moving on. The point is though, yeah, right? It's like I've seen him, right? The way that he's managing coaching the team. I can see it. I can see that he's doing set pieces. Brilliant, but. I'm being at the stadium. I'm doing watch-alongs. I'm falling asleep, bruv. I'm falling asleep. You know what I mean? The only player that is turning up for me at the moment is Kudos. That's the only player.
Yes,
right?
True.
I think Paulini's been great, but let's be honest here. The last game, he was shit. He was crap. Bentancur, that I call the Juventus Regent still, and I still think he's Juventus Regent. I don't even know why we even bothered. Right? I've been saying that since day dot. Right? Don't even know why we bothered with signing the new contract for him. That shows you where we're going with this, right? Right in the future, right? He was our best player. He was good in the second half. You know what I mean? But our attack is absolutely useless, and I'm not going to steal Ashmatic's thunder because he'll explain why. But I kind of give a little bit hint why. You know what I mean? He's trying to carry on the work of Ange Postecoglou, and he's keeping it tight. But let's be honest here, with the defence, he had the easiest job to do, yeah? Just play the defence the way it needed to be played, which he should have been played in the first place. He had the easiest job to do. He's done brilliant with it, even though Vicario is suspect, showing he's been too lenient with certain players, because Kinski should have had a chance. Because let's be honest here, Vicario has been shaky he's been shaky. He has been shaky, bro. Let's be honest here. Yeah? Right? You know what I mean? And I'm going to say this as well. And people might not like this, but I'm onto him as well. And that's why he knows who I'm talking about. Adoji, in the final third, he's crap. He is crap, bruv. I'm sorry. The amount of times this guy goes in the final third and keeps on mucking up every single time, bruv. No, bruv, man. No, boy, man. No, bruv.
I'm not his biggest fan either.
3 years, bruv. He's done it for 3 years.
It might be down to having Solanke and nobody on the left wing.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, bruv, man. I'm sorry. He's mucked up every single bloody time. Don't get me started on that below average Raheem Sterling Johnson. Don't get me started, even though he should be up front. That below average Emil Heskey, Richarlison, who's living off his backside, keeps on sitting on his backside every single week. Right? He's been looking for that goal he scored in the first game. Yeah, against Burnley.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah,
you know what I mean,
see how we can say all these crap players. So what do people think here?
No, but I'm just saying my opinion. I'm just saying my opinion. Yeah, I'm just making myself known, bro. You know what I mean? This is the hint. This is a hint to everybody on in the show right now. Make yourselves known. But the point is, though, yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah,
it's classical.
That's all I'm saying. But again, I don't hate Frank. Frank, even if I don't agree with him, I can listen to him in interviews because at least he explains. He's got a great communicator. I love the guy. But there's a question with all these things I've just mentioned. Is he a winner? And I don't think he's a winner. And you can judge it.
So
you can judge it very quickly by what you're seeing right now. Those hints, and that's it. And it's for him to prove it. You know what I mean? That's why I've got my doubts at the moment. Big up to everybody. Big back to you, Marlon. I'm done.
Can I jump through? What? Hold on 1 second. Bro, I don't know what happened to the damn headphones, man. I'm hearing you from my phone again. But cool. He said something really key. In-game management. About the in-game tactics. Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Whoa. Just give me a second, man. I'm struggling. What's happening right now?
Okay, why are you talking about that? The reason why I completely disagree with the in-game management. Okay, so let's take Bodo losing, come back. Wolves losing, came back. Things had to
I
change.
agree.
All right, Brighton, things had to change. Even Villarreal, because we were so poor in that first half. Yes, we won 1-0. Again, in-game management. West Ham, yes, the sending off happened, fell into our favour, but he had in-game management there because Bergvall, I remember we had a big argument about him, didn't we, in that show as well. The in-game management is that, and that's the reason why I disagreed with it, has actually been spot on from Frank. And usually I'm a big moaner of this, but I think he's actually, and you could say Belieber came off against Brighton, but we still had to make substitutions to have an impact on that game, and that's what's been happening, and hence the reason why we've only lost 1. Bournemouth, he admitted he got wrong.
Yeah, agree. That's why. Listen, that's why I say I can listen to him. Right? He's a very.
And that was like his 4th or 5th game. Like he's
good.
The point I'm making is though, yeah.
You said his in-game management was not very good, but I've just named you majority of our games where
I still think it's still shaky though, bro, because he's still making mistakes though, and he's getting away with it.
He ain't even been here 20 games.
But realistically,
no, because what did I say at the beginning? What did I say at the beginning though? What did I say at the beginning though? The thing is, people completely forget. People forget what I said at the beginning. Yes, logically, it's too soon. Yes, but if we're gonna do this whole thing about not judging him very quickly, we might as well watch the matches. You know what I mean? So I'm just looking at it just from the plane, just watching every single match. You know what I mean?
And
because no point of us seeing it if we're not going to have a judgment.
I said earlier, it's the home form is the biggest concern more than the away. But just on this point to Eugene, I'm just going to answer this. You still have to put the ball in certain situations for these deflections and own goals to happen. It's causing the other team's defense to panic. Hence the reason why they're putting in these last-minute challenges, and hence the reason why the goals are going in. He's still doing something. It doesn't matter how the goal comes as long as the goal's there.
Yeah, so but it does need to improve. Your top goal scorer can't be own goals.
Yeah, of course, but it doesn't need to improve. But everyone has said on this panel, Solanke's not here, and then everyone has said our left side's not here.
But I've been saying this. I've been saying this since last year when we talk when you go into conversations about Ange, and everyone's telling me the tactics are bad, the injuries are all his fault, and I'm like, listen, this is a club problem. We've had problems with injuries for decades, for ages. Now we have just sat here and said, kudos, he is a game changer. Okay, well, Ange didn't have him. Simmons didn't have him. So we're basically saying all of the attackers that he had last year are absolutely crap.
But Luke, are we saying then his in-game management, Ange would have tweaked it where he's able to see that game?
Ange would have made the same subs. What I'm trying to say to it, what I'm trying to say is the whole thing around last year was we was getting too many injuries and it was all on Ange. Well, we're still getting injuries because Spurs have always had injuries. It's a problem we've had for 10, 15 years.
I hear that.
The fact that we're so bad defensively is all on his tactics. 100% it was on his tactics. The way that he played, 100% we conceded far too many goals. But we have so many poor attackers, or I used it as the terminology as number 2 attackers. Yeah. So for me, if you're bringing off Brennan Johnson off your bench, if you're bringing off Odobert off the bench, if you're bringing off Solanke off the bench, they're all decent players, but they shouldn't be starting.
Do you know what for me, which kind of triggered me was that he specifically asked for Brennan Johnson. And for me, that's a problem.
And Solanke, both of them were his guys.
Can I just ask you all a question? Can I ask Luke and Ash a question in this?
Yeah,
if Ange had Paulinho, do you both think actually everything would have been slightly different?
No, me personally, no.
You would have still done stupid.
Look at Anderson for Nottingham Forest. Sorry to interrupt, but look at Anderson for Nottingham Forest. Anderson's a very good defensive midfielder, isn't he? And look how he looks like a mess right now.
He's not defensive. He's a box-to-box midfielder more than he's less defensive.
I just think that in that system, when you've just got one DM and you've got a back line, and both the fullbacks are pushing up high and they have to invert. I know we did tweak it at some point. The amount of ground that Paulinho would have had to cover, it would have made him look quite poor, in my opinion. And I could have seen Paulinho's hamstring going. That's what I think.
But then
I
he would
can
have probably.
see him thinking.
But I reckon he would have played Bentancur next to him.
You reckon you'd have played a
Yeah,
double?
I really reckon he would have played the double. Hence the reason why he probably never went for a Paulinho. That's probably why.
I was actually cool with Ange going. Like if for me, there was not a wrong decision really. It was what side of the fence do you sit on? So if you're someone who says he's the only person to win us a trophy in 20 years, he should stay, cool. If you're saying that we lost 22 games, it's not acceptable, cool, I get it. I just felt if we were sacking him, then we need to go and bring in that Champions League top level winning. I
agree with Luke. My problem with Ange going was the fact that who we're putting in charge. So it wasn't. Look, personally, I make it clear again. I didn't want Frank in. I'm settling on that, and I'll still say that in 2 years' time, right? Because I just don't think he's on the level of what we need, right? But the problem that I have is we didn't go for a Glasner, a ready-made manager, a manager that is going to actually win us things.
Can I just stop you?
Go for it.
We're really going to go after we couldn't get Eze over the line, so we're really going to go for Glasner.
But the ambitions. See, this is what it showed me. No, but this is what it showed me. No, this is what it showed me. Sacking a manager that was successful under the tenure, whether you think it's successful or not, he's won you a trophy. Sacking it just shows you that you don't want to go to the next stage. Cool, perfect. You can sack him. I'm not too upset about Ange going. I made it clear just before the Europa League final. I wouldn't mind changing. It's who you change to. You change to a manager that has no experience in personally going for top four, personally winning trophies. Personally, he doesn't have the experience. What he done at Brentford was respectfully amazing. But we are not Brentford. We are not Bournemouth. We are not Brighton. For me, going back to the point of tactical changes, I feel like we're too one-dimensional. We rely upon the overhead balls. We telegraph. We don't play on the ball, on the floor football. When was the last time you saw us score a goal that was created on the floor?
What players do you think are in our team that can actually do all of that?
Okay.
Because when I look at our midfield, when I'm looking and thinking, all right, cool, nice football, keeping it on the floor, nice passing patterns, all that. Yes, there is a big element of that is reliant on culture. I'm not taking away that I think Frank does need to improve on his attacking coaching, his attacking patterns. I do think that can improve. But at the same time, which was my problem, when I look at them players, I look at Bentancur. Bentancur can't do 5 passes in a row consistently.
But so they sign him on a 5-year deal or whatever the deal is. It makes no sense.
I don't know why. Honestly, I don't know why. So this is why. How can we judge even managers? Like, even again, I'm judging. You see, with Ange, I'm going off because I still give everybody, sorry to bring his name up again, but I give all the managers the same kind of grace. So I'm saying, cool, Ange was given the amount of time he was given, and he was given the players that he was given. This manager now, he's going to need to be given players. He's going to need to be given the same amount of time.
That's true.
So really and truly, I just feel like we just got to, at this minute. What? Because you say you want Champions League managers again. Like, just to go back to that, like, what?
When I say Champions League managers, let me reiterate. Wait, let me clear it up, because you think it's just Champions League managers. I want proven managers, winners. Personally, I want managers that can get us over the line. Personally, where Tottenham is right now, that's not where I want Tottenham to be. I want my club, my ambition.
That's a proven manager. He ain't won nothing with Villa.
My ambition, personally, this is my ambition. This is how you see Tottenham. Everybody has their own way of seeing Tottenham. My ambition for Tottenham is to win the Champions League, is to win the Premier League. I want Tottenham to be at that stage. And in order to get to that stage, you have to have the best managers with the best tactics, with the best players. And currently, we're nowhere near it. So the best thing for you to do is, look, again, I didn't mean to bring up Ange, but personally, if you are going to sack a manager that has just won you some silverware, At least bring in a manager that has some sort of pedigree to win trophies, or has won trophies in their past seasons, like a Glasner, for example. And that I'm just using one manager in that circumstance as a Glasner to show you that my ambitions is trophies. I don't care about, look, personally.
Okay, cool. If we got relegated last season, but he still won that. If we got relegated, but he still won that Europa League, would you have still said he should have stayed?
On Spurs Kings TV, hold on, listen, do some research in it. On Spurs Kings TV, a year and a half ago, me, Happy Feet Harry, all had a conversation about what we really want for Tottenham. Myself and Brian Daigle was on the show as well. Said, I said this, innit? I don't care if we get relegated. Even Eugene agreed with me. I said, Eugene doesn't care about it. He says he wants to win a trophy no matter what. Look, personally, I'm a young fan in it, you know. The Europa League, obviously, age for me, age plays a part in why I'm saying this. This was my first ever trophy, my first experience. I've not experienced silverware. So for me, it was a massive thing.
But at the cost of championship football.
Do you know what? Do you know what's mad? Do you know what's mad? Before we come in box office, it's interesting because when Pochettino was at Southampton, and the reason why I bring up Poch is because Thomas Frank's at Brentford and he overachieved with them, because normally when you come up with a championship side, you go back down, and he stayed in that Premier League for more than 2 seasons and then got them on a top table half finish. Similar with Southampton. Southampton were tipped to go back down. Poch came and he was the one that pushed them up, a young side. He pushed them up and he had them in the top half of the table. All of a sudden, you know, we go after Pochettino. It would have been interesting to see how fans would have reacted hadn't we gotten Poch. I know we won a trophy, and I think because we won a trophy, in our heads as fans, we fast forwarded ourselves and said, now all of a sudden we need to be getting these Champions League managers. Don't forget, Inzaghi turned man down. You get me? There's other managers we were vying for that turned man down. We also tried to do that when we had Poch. We tried to do that thing. We tried to be a bit cheeky and say, yeah, let's go for Mourinho, kick Poch to the side. Poch had to put the little note on the board, on the whiteboard, and before you know it, you know, Mourinho ball didn't really work out. Then we went to Conte. We tried that. We tried the big boy manager thing. Do you understand?
But actually, are we not a different club now to when we appointed Poch, right? We knew he was moving into a new stadium. We knew that we was on the bargain bucket. We knew that.
You think the stadium changes the club? I don't think so. I still think
everything is there to be a top club.
We're at this gear and we're jumping from this gear to that gear. We're not there yet. We still got steps.
So what?
I don't think we go from 17th all the way to we're competing for Champions League. We're competing for Premier League.
I know what you're saying. I'm not saying
that's
we
why
should
I
be
think
going for
Frank
league.
Frank is to kind of get us back to where we was.
But you just mentioned it with Solanke. You just mentioned it with Solanke, right? About him not being good enough. So this is what someone mentioned it earlier. I can't remember. But I'm not disagreeing. But what I'm trying to say is we go and get Solanke, who done an unbelievable job at Bournemouth for 1 season. But I know that Frank was further. But he done an unbelievable job. We go and sign him, and then we go, oh, he's not at the level that we need. And it's like, maybe because buying players and getting managers from that level might not be what you need. Maybe you need to go higher. Glasner is of a similar level at a similar club and has got over the line. He's won trophies. This isn't a slant on Frank. Frank might be able to deliver. You have to be given an opportunity to be able to deliver. But when we talk about Brentford, what he done was incredible. The job that he done was absolutely unbelievable. I agree. But the requirements to do that, why didn't Dyche ever get a top job? What Dyche done at Burnley was ridiculous. He didn't go and get top jobs.
Are we saying reason for that? Dyche is at the level of Frank? Is that
what saying? No, but what I'm saying is there has to sometimes it's what the requirement is. What is the requirement in this role? Frank's requirement was to keep Brentford in the league, churn out. They had a settled recruitment team. He'd been there for years. He knew the club inside out. He could work without pressure because he didn't have 30 journalists every single press conference asking him stupid sort of questions. So what I'm trying to say is, in that environment was perfect. And could he thrive at Tottenham? Possibly. But then again, it all comes back to what are we going to do? Are we going to deliver what he needs? Are we going to bring in top players, or are we just going to be sitting there going, oh, we're going to go and sign a has-been from here, or a cheap player from here, or a 19-year-old from here, and then we're all sitting in that same situation going, well, he hasn't got the players, and then we just this is what happens. As I say, under Ange, that first window, we went and signed loads of decent players, and we was all sitting there going, we changed, and then the next 18 months we bought Solanke, and that was it.
The issue for me, and box office go off straight in after me, I just think there's so many different narratives and voices in the fan base, and some people will look at Frank and they'll think he's a good coach, and what he would do with the players that we have is that he'll get them to a certain level and he'll improve them, and that's what he did at his previous job in Brentford. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's the reason why I'm saying that Frank is the guy, almost not the one that's going to get us all the trophies. I don't think he's a trophy manager, but he's the one to get some of the younger players, some of the players that might be underperforming, and take him up to another level. Now, is that good enough?
No, I don't agree with that statement. If we brought in Frank, sorry to cut you off. If we brought in Frank to get us to, I don't know, Bournemouth and Brighton's level, what's the point of sacking Ange? It makes no sense.
We was way below that.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
I'm not saying to get to Brighton or Brighton.
We're 17th. With Andrew, was 17th. I don't. For me, like, I don't understand how.
And he was a successful manager, key player.
2 losses.
The narrative is we've gone backwards. Then, if that's what you're saying, we've gone backwards. No, the narrative is we've gone backwards. If that's what you're saying, I don't agree with that, man. I expect my manager to improve every single year. And if we're gonna sack a manager, I'm not saying. And look, again, I'm gonna make it clear. Ange, if Ange has gone, he had to go. Clearly, 22 losses, not good. Not good. But my point is this: are we going backwards? That's exactly what you said, Ash. You just said we're going backwards.
That's not what I said. If you're measuring on that,
22 losses, my boy. 22. I don't think people are really understanding what that. In any other season, we're relegated.
Yeah,
boys.
not even that. Hold on, check this. Man United, a prime example. Yeah, if Amorim won that Europa Cup, does Man United improve? Does Man United now all of a sudden is that successful for Amorim? Do you understand? That's what I'm trying to say.
The difference between Tottenham and Man United is respectfully a successful club. They've won trophies, many trophies, bigger trophies than ever that Tottenham can even speak. So we're not on the same level of Man United. So you can't compare us and contrast us.
Course, but what the point is I'm making, does one trophy then all of a sudden make Amorim jump them up the table all of a sudden? I don't think it does. I think for Tottenham still will be, because look at the players they bought. They still bought a top striker in Brenwell. They got Sesko off of Newcastle. They bought in Cunha. All these players were performing at a high level. All right, take out Sesko, right? Because we don't know about Sesko. But let's talk about Cunha. Cunha was one of the leading top players in the Premier League. Was he not last season? They brought him in. Mbumo, again, at Brentford, 21 goals in the league. Do you know what I'm saying? Top player. They've come to Man United, and what have they done? 007. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So winning that trophy, does that mean all of a sudden, Amorim would have been a top manager? But
the narrative is different for Tottenham.
More managers. You're comparing
the narrative. The narrative is different to Tottenham, though. The narrative is different. Wait.
It's different. I'm comparing Tottenham's heritage.
And we were 17 years without a single trophy. No, I disagree with that.
Remember, they had comparative seasons. They did. I'm not talking about the history of the clubs. You're talking about the history of the clubs. I'm talking about football, the performance of last.
Because Tottenham was a failure of a club.
No. It's not to do with Tottenham being a failure of a club. It's to do with the manager not realizing that he needed to adapt in those times when we were losing games, which he did in the cup, but he didn't do for the Premier League. And that's why our results went down. And him, like Amorim, refused to change his philosophy. He refused. He said, this is who we're going to be. This is who I am. I don't compromise my morals. All right, respectfully, fair enough. Let's do that. But it's going to hurt our team because we're having injuries. And if your players, if you don't have the centre backs, you don't have the full backs, that, you know, facilitate your actual system, then it's going to hurt your league position. It's going to hurt you when you're playing games, when when you need to get a draw and you need to stink it out in the Premier League to get up the table. You're not doing that. You're not changing. You're not adapting. And ultimately, that's what happened. And I'm not talking about the actual institution of Tottenham. I'm not talking about the institution of Manchester United. I'm talking about what happened last season, because guess what? Man United had a terrible season, but we had a worse season than them.
Well, okay, cool.
Because Mickey Van der Ven cleared it off the line. Yeah.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Cleared it off the line.
Wait, can I ask you a question? One little question then. One little question.
Would have come on, and then who knows who would have won the cup?
Little question though. One little question.
Go on.
From you saying United were poor, we were poor as well. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Right. Okay.
I believe we were poor. That's not what I'm not saying it was happy days. Bro,
yeah, I know.
I was ranting every single week. My whole dynamic of me, and you can call me flip-flop. I'll put my hands up. I was a flip-flop. I said I'm sorry, Ange, because I wanted Ange gone from the first season. Ox has. I gave him up until I can't remember, but I wanted him gone. I said I wanted him gone. I was Ange out for the first season.
We went way before, because remember, we were backstage and we had that conversation, bro. Do you remember?
That's my point.
How could you still be on this manager? I remember it like yesterday. Go on.
My point. So listen, you can call me flip-flop all I want, innit? But hear me out. This is the question I'm going to ask you, right? We were poor. I'm not saying we were good. I'm saying the narrative for Tottenham was 17 years without a trophy. Right. Now, this is this is the only thing about United and Tottenham. United, if they won that Europa League, it don't affect the outcome of how many trophies they've won over the last 5-6 years. With Tottenham, it's more of a desperate thing, because we was not successful. We're not a successful club past last year. Now, this was my concern. This is not anything to do with Ange. Again, we keep going on this Ange thing. I'm sick and tired of the Ange conversation personally. But the reason why you guys asked me earlier, how long do I give Frank? What did I say? 2 years. I gave him 2 years. So that means I'm supporting Frank. I just want to make that clear. Now, the question I have for the panel, do you believe Frank will be better than our previous manager? Is he going to be the one that's going to win us trophies? Because if you say no, then we've appointed a manager that has taken us backwards. That's my only concern. I'm giving him 2 years, and this is my 2 years. The first year, cool. You don't have to win a trophy in the first year, but the second year, you need to either be like for like or on the same parity.
Yes,
because then that means
backwards, though, TJ, though. Because he won't take us backwards. The whole point of what I think Ash was trying to say is that we need, at the moment, the fan base is all over the place, because you've got us thinking about trophies, but you've also got to remember we finished 17th. Those two things in one season is too much to take, and then everyone's now conflating different arguments. If I'm reading this right, Ash, what you tried to say earlier was what Frank has come in to do is get us back to being a stabilized club where we're not up and down like a yo-yo. Correct. We need to get back where and I'm going to use Poch as the example, where we were competing for top 4 and competing for trophies. And then that's where you have to make the decision on Frank to go, okay, you've got us back there. Do they make the same mistake they did with Poch, not back him and then sack him for Mourinho? Or do they go, actually, let's go and give you the players and let's see what you can do? Right. Because it could be an Arteta situation. Arteta's been backed with over £1 billion worth of players and finished second. And Arsenal fans that right now are losing their minds because, and I use them as an example, is because they were either going, second's not good enough, or actually, look where we were, second is probably where they should be.
Yeah, great. Everything comes back to what the club want to do, right? Because if I said to you, the reason they've appointed Frank is because they don't want to spend no money. They just want to increase the level that we currently have and then bring in some players that Frank can just keep improving and not spend a lot. Then you'd be like, oh yeah, that's what he done at Brentford. I get that. But we don't know. Are they going to be bringing in? Are they going to bring in 2 or 3 more Kudoses? Are they going to bring in Savinhos? Are they going? I know the fan base is going nuts for Kane. Are they going to bring in Kane, or is this whole just like all noise that we're hearing when actually we're just really gonna just tread along and just hope Frank basically pulls off a master
I'm
stroke,
scared we're
which is
going to
what
turn into the Brightons and the Brentfords of the world, and I don't want to be like that.
Well, we need to get there first, because if you, apart from the Europa League trophy last year, we finished below them last year. We've got to catch up to them first, and then overtake them. We've got to catch up to the Villas. We've got to catch up to Newcastle. It's Newcastle we should be worried about.
Yeah, but everyone should be worried about Newcastle.
Exactly.
How Newcastle, like, if you go through the best midfielders in the league, they've got 2 of them. Like, how they're not actually higher.
The problem Newcastle have is because they can't compete with Manchester United or Arsenal or Liverpool right now because they can't spend financially. But actually, the rest of us that are below that, they can compete with Spurs. I was having an argument with a Newcastle fan on Monday, and he said most of their signings since the Saudis came in have been hits. There was 1 or 2 that I did question them about, but actually, when you look at their percentage rate and look at ours over the last 5 years, Newcastle have hit top every time with their signings who have come into that first team, where we haven't. We've only hit this summer.
Go through our top 10 signings of all time. Go through the highest 10 that we've got, the most paid. We've got Solanke, Ndombele, Lo Celso, Richarlison. And this is again, it comes back to the whole numbers thing.
But then you always have to take into consideration that, okay, I know Enoch is still here, but Daniel Levy's gone. And then also, when you read all the bids that have been coming in for Spurs, whether they're fake or not, the fact is that they've set a certain amount where they'd want to improve on the squad. Enoch have now got to face up to that. We've now seen this.
I'm sorry, it's not going to go down well, but I don't believe any of that neither. I think it's all nonsense. If I'm your manager, I'm the owner, I'm Lewis.
I think it was Levy.
And Levy keeps going. Everyone keeps going. Oh, Levy's missed out because he won't spend an extra couple of million. And I'm the owner. I'm going. Well, we've got it. What the fuck are you doing? Why are you not spending it? We've got it.
I'll be real. I think
I think Lewis. You got to remember. Lewis trusted Levy with everything. I think the kids weren't involved. The kids weren't involved. They literally. Levy's just
15 times their investment. Right? They bought the club for 200 million. It's now worth 4 billion, and the way they've chucked him out the door, I just find it. Whether he was the right owner or not is crazy. But
there's more to that.
But anyway, they would have got rid of him. Would have been chucking him out the door. Really, I know it was a bit dark this one because they was all locking doors and all these things I'm hearing like fully.
Levy got Levy.
Yeah, but obviously,
it'd be scary. You know what? It'd be scary if we find out in the next 10 years that Levy was actually a good owner. Because there's a chance that he could have been a scapegoat in this whole situation. Look, I wanted him gone. Let me be honest with you. I'm making it clear. Look, now he's gone. I can say these things, innit? It'll be dark if I said he was there, but it'll be scary if Levy was a scapegoat.
Yeah, but look at Wenger. Wenger got to a point where he got stale, and the same thing happened to Levy. He got stale. It doesn't matter who comes in next. You need to take that risk. You need to see what is next.
We need to know. We need to just
because you don't. Most people, most clubs have changed ownership. Whether they've gone up or down, you change ownership. You do change it after a certain amount of period. So you have to take that risk. It doesn't matter who comes in next. If they're really crap, they're really crap. So what? The next guy after that could be great. You just don't know.
You know my biggest concern, and I'm gonna let other people speak after this, innit? My biggest concern, he got sacked when he said the craziest things I've ever heard come out of his mouth. He wants to win the title and he wants to go for the Champions League.
Bro, he basically
and he got
had a
sacked.
fan behind him.
So look, some bits of the fan base,
bro, that was pressed into his back, bro.
Yes, but some bits of the fan base. No, but look, let's keep it real, innit? Some bits of the fan base, innit? Yeah, let's keep it real. Some bits of the fan base said, "Oh, this is ambition. This is what we want to hear," and we've never heard this come out of our chairman's mouth, And then he said stuff on the lines of, "You're gonna thank me," or something on the lines of "thank me before I'm gone," or something like that, right? Now, my concerns is that maybe. And this year, look, it's proven because look at the players we have got. We have gotten, like, we've got Kudos over the line. We've got Javi Simmons. Even though we messed up Eze and all of these other guys, right? It was technically a successful window in one of our best windows.
I don't think that was him. I'll be real. I don't think that we had too many backstage changes to say that was him. All before them windows, all before that, I didn't see no Charrington. I didn't see no Vinay or none of them people. The minute I see these people step in, I don't know who's doing what in it. But the minute I see these people step in, I'm seeing activity that I'm not used to seeing. So the way I saw the summer was any activity that I'm not used to, I'm putting it down to Vinay and Charrington. And any activity that I see that I am used to, it's down to Levy. It's as simple as that. So when I'm seeing
we can't pick and choose
the same way that they always flop, that's you, Levy.
So if Levy,
but when I see deals going through that,
he's got 25 years of experience.
That's them, man.
I understand that, but you can't have you can't say that Levy fouled the Eze deal, but Charrington and Vinay got kudos over the line.
I specifically didn't say Eze. I specifically
didn't say Eze. All on Levy or none on Levy.
The Eze one, I think whoever was in told that was going to get violated because I think they just wanted to do the violation thing.
I agree.
They just wanted to do that. But all the others, anything that flopped, for me, it's Levy. I'm sorry.
Well, I want to talk about, guys. I want to get back to the football.
I'm sorry.
I want to get back to the football. I want to get back to the football if we can. I want to bring.
Hold on. Before we go, because we've got a super chat from Big Brown 07. It's going on what we spoke about, and I just want a quick answer from each and every one of you. How do you become a top manager? I think this is more aimed at TJ. The whole Frank situation.
Thank you, my friend. How do you become a top manager? Winning trophies, man. It's all about trophies, man.
Yeah, but how do you win? Because I think this goes back to the question of Frank's got to win on one day. Why can't he win it at Spurs?
Because that's not where okay, cool. Put it like this, innit? This is my perspective. We've been doing this process over the last 10 years or 5 years, 6 years, and we keep repeating the process. I don't want the same process of build like this and then build like that and then build like. I want the final product. So I want my team to be a successful club. Now, how the manager becomes a top manager, his pedigree behind, he has to have some form of experience because we're Tottenham. We're Tottenham. We're employing the best managers. We have to have some sort of. This is why Teletubby Tell. I'll use Teletubby Tell as an example. His CV is none and void for Tottenham, in my opinion. He's not on the level. And Odebe, for example, respectfully of what you think of them, they're not on the level of Tottenham. We need definitely better. You got Solanke, for example. We need better than Solanke. A few years ago, we had Kane. So my point is this: how do you become a top manager?
You're never going to get the drop down from Kane's always going to be like even Bayern Munich are going to have a massive drop down when he leaves.
All right, cool. So
okay,
cool. So we sold Kane. We got rid of Kane. The next alternative shouldn't be Richarlison.
Yeah, but we're out.
Are you telling me that's the best replacement?
Yeah, but we're out of Europe.
My point is this: the best alternative shouldn't be Richarlison. It should be someone better than Richarlison.
Yeah, but the next alternative was Solanke. No, it was Son and Solanke. After that, because Son played up front, didn't he? It was Son and
yeah. Okay, cool. So now we've gotten rid of Son. Are you telling me Son on the top of his level, the best alternative is Teletubby Tell?
Yeah, but Tell and even though I did say to Ash in the summer, I always said Tell was going to be the replacement. Do you remember? You're like, no. I think Spurs, when it comes to Savinho, it was Savinho or nothing. They did want to go for an alternative because they didn't want.
But there's many. But there's many on the market right now, though. That's the problem. There's loads of wingers.
I think but like we said, Spurs are changing, and there might be loads of wingers. But were they the ones to come and fit? Were they going to be the ones to come in and suit the system? Savinho obviously was highlighted, and it was like him or nothing. And they're looking to go back in January. I don't know how true that is, but you can see they're going to look back in January. My concern is we need to have a level. There has to be some sort of playing level, right? And going back to the question, how do you become a top manager? You're not going to become a top manager at Tottenham. You're going to have your CV already filled.
You can become a top manager at Tottenham.
Are we a process or are we the final product? That's where I differ.
And I think that's where the guys coming in, because I think you're at a point here where you think we're at the final product. Where in my mind, I think we're a process. In my mind, I see us finishing 17th as a process, bro. But you think because we won the Europa League,
No.
we're the finished product,
No.
we're ready to go.
No,
on
the difference is we class ourselves as the top 5, and maybe this is the first time you're streaming with me. I've always argued we're nowhere near that top 5 candidate. We shouldn't be a part of that because we don't win trophies and we're an unsuccessful team. I make it clear. My problem is if we are based as a top 5, we shouldn't be a process. In my opinion, there should be they should have a CV behind them to be like, okay, cool, he's done this, he's done this.
And should have never been allowed to make us finish 17th.
No, he had a CV of winning. He had a CV of winning. That's where I differ.
Yeah, but
he won everywhere he went.
What though? Like winning.
He won everywhere he went. Isn't that classed as a good CV?
I guess.
Exactly. That's my point. My point is this: your CV has to show you. Look,
but I don't really
I'm not saying
before that Europa League, I don't really rate nothing on the CV. I'll be honest with you.
Look, example. What was the reason us bringing in Mourinho? What was the reason for us bringing in Mourinho?
We was at a different level. We was at a way different level to where we are now. When we are at the level now that I feel like you think we're at, that's where we was then. When we was bringing in the Mourinhos and the Contes, we was kind of a bit more there where we was ready to get that winning manager because we had the Poch that built us, which in this situation would be like the Frank that got us to that point. Then we was ready for the Mourinhos. Then we was ready for the Contes. It didn't really work out.
The difference is I just feel like there should be some sort of standard. There should be some sort of standard to play for Tottenham.
So low by making us finish 17th. That's what I'm trying to say. He drops that to the bottom.
But you know what? This standard has been dropped past Ange. Look at the signings we have done in the last years. Look, I'm using two examples. Tubby Tell and Alderbear are not on Tottenham's level.
Yeah, what the thing is, you have to look at it that do these managers that you're thinking of, that you're talking about, Glasner, do you think Glasner wanted to come to Spurs? Yeah. Do you understand?
Realistically, it should be a step up.
Because realistically, it should be. But he's looked at it and he's thinking,
Palace have won 2 trophies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and now, and this is my concern. We're becoming like them.
Yeah, that's my concern. Who's in charge for that, though? That's the point we're making. So now that's why Frank, maybe he was the manager we could attract. Yeah, I'm trying to say. So that's how you got to come with.
That's dark. You know, that's dark because I don't want to attract. Sadly,
we are getting confused. We are in the Champions League. So if we would have gone all out for Glasner, Glasner would have been, especially if Glasner knew Eze was going. Let's be real. If Liverpool went for Gay, he would have been gone. So if we'd have gone for Glasner, I think we would have probably got him. I generally think that. And when I say going back to the whole point about being a top manager, it depends on what you. It depends.
We're not getting no one off Palace. We weren't getting no one off Palace by Daniel Levy was still the door.
There's a buyout clause on managers. If we would have paid it, we would have got him.
Yeah, but Tottenham don't buy it.
The whole question about being a top manager, that all bases that whole thing is off what do you consider a top manager? I loved Poch. I loved watching Poch. I loved everything about Poch. Poch had the best team in the league for 2 years and didn't win the league. Yeah. Right? So there's people here that I listen to and they tell me Poch is the guy we should go and get. Poch ain't a top manager. He's the only manager in the last 12 years to go to PSG and not win the league. Like, what do you consider as a top manager? There's so many different facets that come into it that make you a top manager. So I don't think Spurs are going to get the elite level, i.e. the best 5 managers in the world. We're not going to go and get Pep Guardiola. What I was saying is if we're getting into the Champions League and that's where we want to go, we should be going to Champions League level managers. It's like buying players. If we want to go and start playing and being 15th, keep signing players that play for teams that are 15th.
Then off the top of your head, say one manager.
Glasner was the one that I wanted.
But by the way, Poch
without Glasner, because
by the way, Poch did win the league. By the way,
no, the first year he didn't. But second, you said he didn't win it at all. No. I said he's the first manager in 15 years that never won it.
Yeah,
when he went there, he went there in January on the same point.
And also, Luke, is Glasner even a Champions League man? Has he managed in the Champions League?
Frank.
He won the Europa League.
What, one season?
Are we saying that
for Frank?
All right. Are we saying Poch and Thomas Frank aren't top managers? Box Office TV,
We
What
don't.
you said?
Oh.
Mute him. That's the best thing he has said all night, by the way.
Back to you, Luke.
Yes.
No.
Box office, couldn't agree with you more.
Listen, Marlon. I know people were jealous of the Professor of Truth and Entertainment, but you don't need to show it, bruv. You don't need to be salty, bruv. You know what I mean? You know, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But the point I'm making is, though, yeah, let's just relax, everybody, right now. Frank ain't going nowhere. Yeah, Frank ain't going nowhere. Right? Regardless what I think about Thomas Frank and whether I think he needs to prove himself, I don't think he's going to go anywhere. Right? The whole thing about Poch, yeah, he was similar to what Frank is at the moment. He improved us. He improved he improved players. I think the question mark at the moment is he a winner? That's the weird thing at the moment, right? And it's interesting now we keep on harping back to the past, which is amazing because I thought we'd moved on from the past. One is Daniel Levy. I'm gonna say it only once, and the other one is the other manager. You know, that's not Nottingham Forest, right? The whole thing now that our previous chairman's left now, the spotlight is now on Thomas Frank now. And I think that's why people are starting to say what they're saying at the moment, because they can't talk about the previous chairman. They can't talk about the previous manager because it's all gone. They've all gone now, right? So now the spotlight is not on the finances, because we're hearing lots of Tottenham fans saying, we are the big club now. We are the silent giant, like I said on my channel, Mr. Box Office TV again. But you know what I mean? So the silent giant, the silent giant that is kind of risen from the rooftops. You had channels making videos saying, "I'm so worried about Tottenham. Oh my God, I can't believe it. They are going to be a sleeping giant right now." And I said, right now, still Johan Lang's still there. Still Vinay still there. You know what I mean? I'm not in there looking at Johan Lang and sitting there telling me right now that Johan Lang's going to do anything right now. That guy, you know what I mean? He's the guy that I'm.
This is what I don't understand again.
He's the guy. Look, because the Professor of Truth needs to make his mark. The point is, though, yeah, right? He's the guy. He's like the similar, like me, in the boat party that I went to on Sunday. I see a big guy, right? I'm trying to get past because I'm trying to chat to some ladies. All right, I go past him. I get knock him over a little bit, and he has a problem with me, and I'm sitting there saying, "What you moaning about?" You know what I mean? And he's acting like a, you know what, and I'm like, "What you doing?" You know what I mean? You know? So he's the big man, and I'm like the small timer. You know what I mean? You know, I don't even know what to say. You know what I mean? You know? So it's like that's Johan Lang. You know, the small timer. You know, we need to sort that out first.
If
you know, we need big plays in our back office right now, and Johan Lang ain't that guy. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I don't even know about Vinay either.
If you don't know that we've got people like Lang and that, yeah. So why are you not worried about winners and who's winning and who's doing all that? Because then what are they going to do with this? If the progression managers can't build,
the point I'm making is there's two arguments here. There's two arguments here, right? I'm saying, right. I don't know if Thomas Frank is a winner, right? That's not having a go at him as a coach, no, because I think he's a good coach. I think there's qualities there to show that he's a coach, right? He will get the best out of the squad, yes, like Pochettino did. But there are things there where I don't know if he's got that way of getting us over that line. I've mentioned it at the beginning, like I said on my channel.
But why do we need to get over the line right now?
Exactly.
I'm just saying. But I'm just saying, in a certain cup games or Champions League or whatever, I don't know if he can do it. I'm seeing little things at the beginning. I'm thinking, I don't know. That's not having a knock at him. That's just what it is at the moment.
Until he plays Newcastle and he's still unbeaten in the Champions League. So what?
Yeah, but it's still the beginning though. But there's still little remnants and saying. Well, I don't know if he can do it. I don't know if he can do it.
But why does he need to get us over the line this year or next year?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
You said you don't know if he's a winner though. That's one of your concerns.
I don't know if he's a winner. No, I don't think.
But we don't need to know that. But we don't need to know that. Why do we
Well,
need to know
no,
if he's a
but
winner?
you can still have your own opinion of it, though.
No, but I'm actually asking, why do we need to know when he's a winner when the whole point is, I'm going to go back to Ash's point, is when we just want to be stabilised and back to being a competitive side.
Yeah, I agree as well. But the thing is, though, there is going to be people saying, like they've said today, right? They're saying, well, Ange did win, right? Okay. Other managers have won as well, right? So, and they look at Glasner and say, well, Glasner won with the team at Crystal Palace. Right, so I'm not being funny. I'm just saying at the moment is that I don't know if he's a winner. Now he can prove me wrong, right? He can prove me wrong, but I'm not saying I'm going to judge him if he's not a winner. Because if he improves the team,
so the question is, what are you judging him on then? Because if you're not judging, you keep saying he's a winner, but so what are you actually judging him on? We're not caring if he's a winner or not. How are you going to judge him then? How are you going to judge him?
Well,
what's going to be
the
your
progress
remit?
of the team, but there is concern. There is a concern that is he able to get us over the line?
Yeah, but why?
Right,
but
so can
why
you not see progression now from what you saw last season?
No,
to like these
but
games now,
it's too soon.
It's too soon, man. It's too soon.
From what you saw at the end of last season when he was getting
little
slapped
things,
every single week.
Bro,
I don't know if you don't remember. Maybe in Europa League.
Wait.
You obviously don't know the professor of truth and entertainment, Bob.
I remember the weekly beatings. So,
it's too soon. You know why? Because let me tell you. Let me use your argument. Wait. Let me use your argument tonight. Wait. Let me use your argument to understand what you're saying here, right? It's too soon, in my opinion, right? But if you're gonna say it, with what he's already done, Frank has only had 7, 8 games, or just under 9 games, right? If you keep it buck, where I'm gonna be judging him based on our previous manager, Ange Postecoglou was unbeaten, and in fact, we have more points. So now this is my point. I'm not saying.
Yeah, but TJ,
first 10 games. TJ, if you're going to judge it based
no, you have to judge it on recent performance because that's what he's coming into.
Exactly, that's my point. It's too soon.
They're different situations.
He's inherited what
they're completely
Ange
different
left.
situations.
He didn't inherit Ange winning 10 games.
Yes,
he inherited Ange losing 10 games on the trot and a trophy.
My point is this: it's too soon to judge. It's too soon to make claims like that.
How many games? I don't think so. Last season was getting slapped every week.
No. Wait. Before we go there, how many games? When Glasner first came to the Premier League, how many games did he?
You mean Ange? You mean Ange?
Glasner.
Your
guy.
I can't. I don't know. I can't.
Glasner.
I wouldn't know.
No.
They were shocking.
Forget that. Last season. When did Crystal Palace win their first game last season?
When they played us.
After months.
Right then.
After time.
And everyone was slaughtering. And everyone was slaughtering. I'm not. This is not an Ange debate, but everyone was slaughtering Ange, going, "You're shit," because Palace finally won a game, and then at the end of the season, everyone was going, "Our amazing Palace were."
October. It took Glasner October to start winning, but
start winning.
Luke, we also lost against Ipswich.
No, but that's why I was saying about the whole Frank situation is that I don't understand why people are going so mad right now. If we were on 3 points, then I get why people are going. But the facts is that we're winning games. I didn't expect him to come in and all of a sudden we're playing unbelievable football and we're unbelievable.
I agree.
This and that. We have to wait until at least 6-7 months. But then at the same time, you have to see something. You have to be able.
And we have seen our waveform. Let's look at our waveform. Our waveform is better than last season already. Like no questions. I think we only got 13 points last year, and we're on 10 already.
But it's still too soon to judge, though. That's my opinion.
How?
I look at it like this,
and we're gonna beat our home record last year as well.
But I have to look at it. I have to pull back on that one. I think it's looked good, but I do think in certain games when it's going right, it's cool. Yeah, there's no problem. Right, Man City was a proof of it. Yeah, we got the 2 goals. Right, Man City couldn't do anything. Then it was just okay. Because we could just defend. That was it. When it goes wrong, though, that's where I'm just questioning him, and I think we need to see a little bit more on that. Because I think we've had a bit of an easy start.
Yeah,
but it has gone wrong
in some way as well. I think we've had an easy start, and I think like I said, I think defensively we look good. Right, I'm still sticking by what I say about the goalkeeper though. But again, he had an easy job of doing that, right? I do think there's a complacency in the team, right? And I think that's down to Frank as well because he's too nice to some of these players, right? Because I think they got his he's got his they got their what was it, the finger around him.
What players in particular? What do you think? Who's got it easy?
I do think I'm not going to have a go at Van der Ven because I think Van der Ven's been good. Van der Ven's been consistent for the last 3 years, so I can't have a go at Van der Ven now because he's been consistent, and you can see why. You can see he's been linked with top games now. Top player teams. Romero, I'm still, I don't know. Poro defensively, I don't know about him. I've got to be honest. He gets found out too many times.
So do you think you think Frank's being too nice for Poro? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I think he's been too nice with certain players, like Bentancur.
Who are the players?
Nah, come on, he's been ruthless. He dropped Basuma from the cup final.
Basuma, but he's back in the team now, Bob. He's back in the team.
Yeah, he's back in the team.
He's back in training now. He's
back in training. He's got. You can't just tell a player he's done for a year.
Yeah, but
he's
he's
back
in training though, Luke. He's back in training though.
But he's
I agree with you, Luke. But at the same time, he's back in training.
We got to sell him. No, or
at some point we got to sell him.
We got to sell him. So you got to keep him fit.
He's got to keep him fit. Otherwise, he's
I think it's too early to tell if he's too nice or too. I don't think he's too nice. But
exactly.
Again, I think it's too early.
I agree with you, Luke. Why haven't we streamed before, man? You're like the white version of me. Like honestly, people are insane right now, man. It's taking 2 years here, innit? And I'm saying, I'm saying personally, I'm putting 2 years. I'm being fair on both managers personally, but like it's too soon to judge all of it. Too soon to even have these conversations.
No, it isn't. Yeah, it isn't.
It's not too soon.
You don't think so?
You can say if you've seen improvement from the rubbish that we saw at the end last season. I don't think it was that hard to improve from. If I'm
logically, you're making sense. But the thing is, though, I go back to what I say. If we're going to start saying this about it's too soon, don't watch the matches then for 6 months.
But
because
okay,
no
cool.
point watching the matches. There's no point in watching
the argument. I will say though,
you can watch the matches, but what you mean is don't have an opinion on it because you can still watch the matches.
The argument I will put forward though. The argument I'll put forward is under Ange, the first 10 games we were winning. Under Conte, the first 10 games or 8 games, around 8 games, it was really successful. Under Mourinho, it was very successful. It's too soon to judge. Yeah, it's too soon to judge whether Frank is going to be successful or a failure. That's my humble opinion. However, we can criticize things like Bodo Glimt. Like I thought Thomas Frank had a brain fart. He had frostbite. Like that's a Champions League. That's a Champions League game. The lineup was wrong in my opinion. That's the most important game. Look, we were playing Wolves. I think it was in between Wolves and Leeds, right? In between both of these games, the Champions League game was the most important game, and that lineup was it was horrific.
To be honest, we're gonna get horrific lineups, bro. Because at the moment, we still don't know the squad inside out like that.
And he started everybody that finished 17th last year, by the way.
And also, again, this is
one of them last year, by the way.
This is one of the things about him is that he's never managed a European season, so he doesn't know how much it's actually going to impact his players and everything. So listen,
so why don't you play your best player?
Lost one yet? So.
If he's still learning, let's have no doubt whether he was in or out, whatever. Frank is still learning right now on the job. He's learning what Spurs are like, what fans are like, what players are like. If he's learning and not losing games week in, week out, then we have to be okay with that until a point, right? Like I would have took this, the what we've had. 100%. I would have took this start to the season 100%. No doubt. I didn't care who the manager was. So therefore, he's doing it. Stand back from it. Sometimes we're so involved in it, we're ingrained in it. We don't step back and go, "Hang on a minute." It's been a pretty decent start when you consider all of the different changes. We haven't had a fit striker, or
right. Let's stay on that point. Do you think then, when Solanke comes back, we see a little bit of a difference, or Moani comes in, Kulusevski? Does anyone think the attack changes, or is it more the same?
Moani needs to come in and start quickly. I'm sorry. I know you don't agree with me, Ash, but I'm sorry.
No. You think, bro?
It's a loan. I'm sorry. I've said from day dot when he came in, I said it's a loan, right? He needs to hit the ground running. Right, that's what we bought him for.
Like
right?
Paulinho.
I'm sorry, like there's no excuses on that one, right? Because with Richarlison, for me, I'm sorry, because he's been doing the same thing for 3 years, and he's annoying me so much. Honestly, he sits on his arse every single time, and then I get sad say he's getting fouled. No, he's not. He just sits on his arse. He sits on his arse. Sorry. Backside. Sorry, backside. It just annoys me so much. He annoys me so much. I swear. And it's just because no one else is competing with him, and Tell's not doing it. I'm sorry, Tell is not doing it. Right?
Tell, man, that guy.
He scored a jammy goal.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Does anyone think if Solanke or we get Amwani back, or even Kulizeski, does the performances improve slightly from an attacking point of view? And everyone's
100%.
I personally believe we need a system change.
Okay.
Do you know what?
The reason why.
TJ. No, I agree.
I'm not disagreeing. No,
I agree. I wouldn't mind seeing.
I'd see 3 out of that.
Because the way we played against Paris in that first half was probably the best we've played this season.
So are you saying then the back 3 would be more suitable for Spurs then? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, 100%.
Maybe.
If you're playing this Frank Ball, it's the perfect lineup.
Make sense,
If you play 3 at the back, where does Xavi play?
See,
left.
Okay.
No.
We should have spoke.
Left for me. I know a lot of people complaining that he's playing on the left, but I got the decision. I get it. He's not. Him and Wirtz, like coming from the German league, is tough. And the guy who played for Leeds on Saturday said in an interview before, he said coming from the Bundesliga to the Premier League is tougher than people think. It's not as easy. So this is why we might have seen Wirtz and Simmons not adapt very quickly to this way in the Premier League. So you could still put him on the left. He's still going to drift inside. You still have your doggy doing the overlapping, and he's going to put Bentancur and Paulinho in there. But you might see.
So you would have a 2-man midfield with Moani on the left.
I don't think we can play 3. We're all sitting here right now saying we don't have enough. We don't have enough in attack with 4. We can't then play 3.
But if you go back, the reason why I'm using the Paris Saint-Germain game, because that was the prime example of we didn't notice those problems because of the way the system worked for him.
About Kudos was in the 2. No,
he was in the 2.
He played up front, but also we
can't
can't use that tactic against Leeds. We can't use that tactic against
that's
Burnley.
the
thing. This is what I've been saying.
You don't know, but you don't know because
back 5 against Leeds is wild to me.
No. But you're not looking at it. You're not looking at it going that Porro and Udogie don't become extra attackers when they do. Because you're pushing forward.
Yeah, I understand.
I understand that, but then you're asking
an attacker, please, because he can't create.
That's one of the problems.
Udogie. But you have to remember you have to remember when Andrew's first season, Udogie was always caught inside the box on the left. It didn't matter if he couldn't finish or not; he was in there. So he can play that system. Porro is more of attacking right back.
Did he ever create a chance or convert?
He did, yeah, because he did.
No, he did.
He did.
I think about
Udogie. Yeah. And when he did, he used to get in the box and create chaos in the box.
Yeah, that's all he did, create chaos, but he didn't do anything.
But he did create
I don't
chances.
think he gets it right, man. I think his final
I do agree. He makes the fun, but all I'm saying is that at the moment we've got nothing on that left anyway. So whoever you put in Odegaard, Tell, or Udogie, it doesn't really matter at this present moment.
There's another option, and I was on a stream with Haz last Friday. And I actually suggested this, and I actually think this could even work. You know, a lot of fans, a lot of people in the comments disagreed with me because they thought I was deluded. But why can't we convert Pedro Porro as a winger and move Kudos on the left side? If we're going to play with this 4,
Kudos cannot play left.
Look, again, really and truly, we don't have a left winger, so we're going to always struggle with that left winger side. You know,
wing back or winger, like
he's saying
winger, yeah, and then you put DJ Jed Spence on the right in the right back position. Because he's proven that he can play right back and left back.
You get your best players.
Again, a lot of people think it's too much.
You get your best players and you play them in their best positions. Kudos stays on the right. That's it. There should be none of this.
Fair enough.
I think Kudos. Okay, I can't say anything because I'm going to do a video on him, so I can't say it. But
go and check out his channel. He's got a channel called
No, I can't. But
because we have a problem in that left winger position, man.
I think Kudos should be in the centre for some reasons that I'm not going to state right now. But I just think he's.
What formation are we talking about?
I think that's a good question. That's a very good question, actually.
Kudos
We're talking about back threes right now. Where's Kudos play?
I think at the moment you're playing the right because of the things that I'm surprised you haven't said it, Ashmatic, because you know that we're trying to be tight in the middle, and then we're just more attacking in the flanks. I think his position is going to be there at the moment, and Javi Simmons is going to be around that at the moment. I think, who has been okay. Let's be honest here, but and then I think this is why I'm criticising the fullbacks at the moment a little bit. Because I do feel I think they can do a little bit better creatively. I've got to be honest as well. You know what I mean? Because there's a reason why.
Ain't most of them coming from Porro?
Well, yeah, but I do think I think Porro less than Adoji at the moment, because there's but
Marlon's only been in for 2-3 games. Everything
but
the left side was covered by Spence.
I'm sorry,
I kind of hate box office with the Udogie thing, man. I think Udogie on there is just when he gets round there, he does all the stuff great. He does the running, does all that, the strength and all that's good. But when he gets to that position, he either just over touches it or
his final decision
plays it the wrong way.
I don't know, man.
I feel like he's got to, and I feel like you spend a lot of time with the training of your crosses. It looks like in training, but then when it comes to here, it's like I'm not really seeing any difference to what you would normally do. Like I just see a lot of the same movements from him that kind of annoy me. You see, like with Porro, I know they're two different styles of wing back, but you see with Porro, as soon as Kudus just lays that back, let's get him flung back in the box quick, like no.
Yeah, but that's because they've created a partnership where at the moment, because we don't know if it's Odeber, Tell, we don't know who's on the left, and it's been Udogie, it's been Spence. There's been two
that's my issue. That's why I think we should push Porro up.
No.
We have a problem with that left side.
You're missing the point, TJ. What Kudos and Porro are creating such a partnership. Why are you going to break that up?
In a way, I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. 100%. They're creating a good partnership. However, we have a problem with that left side. That left side is stinky.
You don't go make the right side weak and then make your left side weak, and then you're stuck.
You're not making it weak. Why would you mean making it weak?
We just told you. We literally played on the whole season for West Ham last year, and they were complaining. He was on the right the year before under Moyes. That was the reason why Kudos was a £55 million player. And he played the last 20 minutes against Wolves, and everyone went, "Yeah, we can't." He stunk it out.
With Porro as well. Porro is superb in that half space on the right hand side. He's not a winger. He's superb in that right space. He's what Trent was, right? Obviously, not to the level of Trent, but and sometimes what you have to do with a player like that, and it's same with Trent, is that okay, he's going to give you some negatives and there's some drawbacks on him, but what you're going to have to do is get the players that are not as good to do the stuff that he can't do.
Look at Liverpool this season. Liverpool are struggling in their fullbacks position.
Exactly.
Porro is an absolute threat, and he's a threat to us as well. Don't get me wrong. But I would rather have him in the team and find a way to counteract the negatives in his game than not have him in the team or have him around.
You'd rather keep the left weak instead of just weakening the other areas of the pitch, because if that's our only issue that we're all complaining about, that's something we know that can be fixed. It's probably the biggest dilemma because
he needs to do more of that though. He needs to do more crosses in the box for me, and his attacking quality should be used more. But there's a reason why our goals, most of our goals are coming from own goals. There's a reason why, because the attack isn't right at the moment, and I'm not blaming too much on Thomas Frank, because I think I can see why he's more focusing on defence, because that has been a problem last season. I've given him credit for that, but it was an easy thing to do because it wasn't addressed with the previous manager. But it's just what I'm watching at the moment. I'm just getting very bored, and it's not me. It's just I'm just looking at it just by what I'm watching on the pitch at the moment. You get what I'm saying? And I do feel if we weren't behind and those teams actually taking their chances, I think we would have struggled to get anything out of those matches. I've got to be honest. You know what I mean? So again,
I just basically think we move a little bit different. I've got a little clip here,
yeah.
A little bit different to how we attack down the right is different to how we attack down the left. And I pull up this clip because Kudos gets the ball and automatically he's surrounded by two Leeds players right here. Yeah, you can see Bentancur at the side, right in the middle, and then behind him is Porro. Yeah, and in this clip here, what Kudos does is he goes into that space, and then you can see instead of him looking upwards, his head's kind of down. I don't know if you can see that because things in the way. But basically, Porro started to make the run in behind. Bentancur supporting under. Now, what Kudos is really good at, he's really good at shielding the ball. He's got a lot of strength, something that our left-hand side hasn't got. Do you understand? That's one of his unique abilities. But what I think he does, he doesn't get his head up and pass to Bentancur because he could do a quick combination pass, in my opinion, rather than holding on to the ball. So what he does, he holds onto the ball, doesn't see Bentancur. Bentancur runs back and then he forces the ball all the way back to the goalkeeper. Then we pass it out from the back and it's more combinations rather than dribbling. It's more 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. And before you know it, we're up the pitch and then the ball's gotten into Xavi. So the point I'm making here is the right-hand side, because Kudos is such, as everyone says, a cheat code, he normally does it himself. He'll take one or two players on himself, and everyone thinks the left-hand side should operate like that, and we should get a left winger to duplicate what Kudos is doing. But I don't mind if the left-hand side, because we don't have that technical ability, sometimes you're seeing the doggy and you're seeing Odobert or whoever's on that left quickly do 1-2s, quick little triangles, quick rotations, and before you know it, it's the counter attack on the other side. And I think that's good coaching from Frank to recognize the players, their skill set and what their abilities are, and then getting the best out of them. Because I think that is a brilliant piece of play from Spurs. And all of a sudden, look, Leeds are look how much space is in behind. And it's not gone through the middle, like everyone thinking, oh, we've got to build through the middle. If we built through the middle, it would have been slow and laborious, and they would have been able to sit in a low block. But because we went round the sides and we did quick 1-2 passes on that left-hand side, we're able to get out. And then if you look here now, for me, Xavi could have played it into Tell's in the middle. Let me play it back a bit. So there's a little clip here. Yeah? If you can see there, look, Tell's on the side. Look, Xavi's on the ball. A nice weighted through ball.
Yeah, I was guided with this one. Yeah, I thought he should have laid that straight away.
Laid that straight away, right?
Yeah,
so
Xavi,
IQ wise, I think Xavi still obviously got a way to go. He's 22. Remember, he's still very young. He's only 1 year older than Tell. Do you understand? Only a couple years older than Odobert. He played with Odobert a lot at PSG, innit? So they've got a good relationship. So maybe, I don't know. Does Frank persist with this until we get players through the door? Maybe they get a little relationship, and this is a different way of them building out from one side. I don't know. I'm just saying as an issue.
Also, what's not being considered here with Kudos is that when he's on the right hand side, he's coming into his stronger foot, and he will go around the outside on his right foot, but he doesn't have to beat anyone there. He beats his man. Sorry, he'll beat his man, but then he's got no one else he's coming into. If he's on the left hand side, he's never going to come in field because he's coming in on his weaker foot into traffic. He's not going to want to do that. It only works on the right hand side for him. So it's different if you move Kudos over to the left and he performed exactly the same. But he's not going to do that. He's basically he's going to be one-dimensional and only ever go down. Which is predictable, and that's the one thing he's not. He's unpredictable, which is why people want to mark him and try to double up on him because you just don't know what you're going to get. So the whole thing, and why we're trying to shoehorn players in is because the left side is not good enough. So the facts are, is in January go and get someone that is.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like until January, I'm just saying until then,
make good.
I think what Frank's trying to do is on that left-hand side, sometimes he'll try to do a little combination play where you've got 2 or 3 players, and sometimes even the striker might pull over to that left-hand side, and it's quick. On the right-hand side, we might use Kudos, and that's why it looks so laboured on that right-hand side. Not laboured, but it looks like we're Kudos FC at the moment. But even here, if I move the clip on, as that ball comes in, he doesn't do that. He doesn't do the through ball, and then he puts it into Kudus now, right? But I think he underhits it, in my opinion, because I think it should be slightly in front of Kudus, but it's to his feet. So then, as Kudus has got the ball to his feet, he's got to check back in. He's got 2 players on him.
Another space is close.
There you go. Right then. But you see, on the left hand side, it's different. It's just bop. But on the right hand side, it's like to the feet rather than.
It's a key factor. We do rely upon Kudus, to be honest with you. You know, he's clearly our best player going forward. You know, and I think teams have already adapted to the fact that Kudus is going to be a handful to defend against, right? So when you actually look at the games, it's usually two people on Kudus. You know, he has a lot of draws a lot of players, and in a way, I agree with you. You know, that could be to our advantage again.
Javi Simmons is in space now because 2 players. He's on the edge of the box, and as that ball comes back to him, obviously that player closes him down, and then like he's got an option. Where does he play it? But what I like about Javi, he's got, I call it the pauser, where he takes his time, he slows it down, and then he can pick out the best option. He can see the pitch, he can see who's in the best position, and he might see what someone else doesn't see. And what he does is he scoops that ball up. You can see Porro making that run just in behind in that channel where Kudus is on the outside. Porro's got his hand up, and then that's where Javi scoops that ball over his head.
Yep.
I think Porro should just smash it across the box, and then Tell will be there.
My only concern, there's only one concern I have about Kudus as a player. I think he's done phenomenal, you know, like, and I can't ask for anything better, right? But there's just times where he doesn't release the ball. That's my only concern, you know, and I think it's a case of, whoa, I've just gone massive. I didn't know I was that big. There's just times where you see that he all he has to do is just look up. Just look up and see the extra runner, you know, and release the ball. I think he holds onto the ball too much. And I think time will, again, it's still too early to understand what Frank is trying to do.
Will improve a lot of these players, do you understand? And so you're going to see more goals.
No, I agree with
Kudus coming up. Like last season, he got 3 goals. I think he's going to improve that. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing Kudus drifting from the right into the left, and he's got that first goal from shooting through that guy. I guarantee you they're working on those type of patterns of play. Say, Kudus, you know, start of the season, you're out wide. What we need now is for you to draw in. And remember, because it's 2 games a week, they're not having that time that Ange had on the training pitch to kind of.
But also, we've all just said it. We've all just said Kudus is our best player. So he's not going to keep giving it to players that are not as good as him. Like if Simmons gets to the level he could do, and let's just crazy, we go and get Semenyo and we go and get Kane. You don't think Kudus is going to pass to these players? Of course he is.
To be fair, and to be fair to Kudus, every time he's looking on the left, if he stops Javi Simmons, he ain't passing him. He's like, I got to go by myself.
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. It's all about building connections. If he sees Porro, for instance, if he sees Porro there, or he sees Palhinha, then he may be going, Porro, I'm giving it to Palhinha. I don't like, and this is the sort of thing is like there needs to be partnerships around.
No, but
he was very clever on Saturday because he realized where he could use Tell and where he couldn't use Tell, and that's why Tell ends up scoring the goal because he releases it at the right moment, going, I know Tell can get him behind, and he needs to run this ball rather than him trying to hold it up. That's not Tell's game. I think that's and he's learning that with his teammates as well. So. To be fair to Kudus, you can tell over the last couple of weeks. At first, I was the same like you, TJ. I was like, release it, even if you have to, because it's not down to you if they're crap. Frank needs to see their crap. But now he's starting to realize what the players around him strengths are, and the assist to Tell on Saturday was quite telling of that. And then his goal, there was no one in the middle, and even the clip that Ash just showed, as soon as Kudus was free, he played it.
You know, you said something very key as well, in terms of Tell, Teletubby Tell, or it doesn't even have to be Tell. It could be Richarlison, Solanke. But when Frank was managing at Brentford, he always had that focal point, that big man, you know, in Wissa, and he would hold up the ball for the wingers to go past, you know, bypass them, you know, and that's our problem right now. We don't actually have a strong striker that is smart enough to hold up the ball. We only saw it against PSG. But I haven't seen look, when it was Richarlison again. I'm not saying Richarlison is our striker. He is clearly our striker, but we saw him perform to a competent level against PSG, whether that's by nature or because of the bigger, it's a big game, he decides to perform. But we haven't seen him hold up the ball, and that's our problem. There's not a person that is a focal point.
We are looking at a striker at the moment, but whether people agree if he's good enough, it will be a different conversation as it is. But it's interesting because, like you said, they actually bought Tel in the summer. We've got Solanke that's coming back, and then on loan, as box office is saying, he hasn't got any time at all. We've got Moani, so that's already 3 strikers. So I'm surprised that we are looking for. Well, I'm not surprised because obviously the strikers aren't really doing well. Maybe these aren't Frank's players. These are maybe some of Andrew's players, or
maybe
the club.
Solanke and Moani's injuries are more serious than the club are playing it off.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think the Solanke injury, obviously he's gone for surgery on the ankle, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So that's the reason why he's taken longer to get back.
Yeah, if it's anything like Tom Huddleston's ankle, then he ain't coming back for a while.
That bloody Ange and his injuries.
The problem is,
it was his fault. He played for Ange.
The problem is at the moment, right, is that if we get through this Champions League group stage, yeah,
which we should,
right, okay, and the players coming back fit, yeah. Watch how some of the players are going to be starting worrying about their places in that Champions League squad, because that's still going to be a problem, by the way, right? And then people are saying that we need to buy players. We need to buy players, right? Okay. So who's coming out that squad? Are we going to start looking at Archie Gray, some of the people's favourites, yeah, to be out that squad then? You know what I mean?
I'll drop Archie Gray.
What about Alderbear? That useless guy.
Kulusevski
People tell me that he gets past players, but I don't see no one getting past. I don't see him getting past players.
Gray
He's
can't
going
anyway.
past players. That's someone
the
going
point
past
I'm
players.
making, bro. The point I'm making is, are we going to look for a difference? Because, like, let's face it, outside of Savinho and Semenyo, and like, Liverpool fans are talking about Semenyo now, Arsenal fans are talking about Semenyo now. You know what I'm saying? Everyone's talking about Semenyo. I don't know if Spurs can get a Semenyo anymore. Obviously, Savinho's got a new contract.
Lookman's up there. Adeyemi's up there. Bro, I have a chart list. Lookman, I'm a big fan of Adeyemi personally.
Look, who's to say that Frank wants a Lookman? Do you know what I'm saying? Because Lookman was there.
They don't want Lookman.
Was there.
Nobody wants Lookman.
I want Lookman.
Don't bring him back to the Premier League, man. Don't bring him back.
I'll take Lookman.
Lookman's not Premier League. He's not going to do it in the Premier League. He's proven that. I know people sit there and go, "Oh, but look at the clubs he's been at." But I look at it and go, he's done better when he's played in Europe, and his form was a lot better under Gasperini than anyone else.
Matoma's there.
No, but
what's the problem with Matoma?
Lookman, hold on. I think Lookman was young when he was in the Premier League. He was
a young player. He wasn't young. He wasn't because he was young. No, he was because he had loan spells at Fulham and Everton where he was of age. That's not young.
He was like 22, 23. Right?
No, because he went to them recently. He only went to Atalanta before, and he had the 3 years there. But
3 years, exactly. 3 years.
Yeah, but
so now he's grown.
Yeah, but
some people are late bloomers, you know.
Yeah, but not with Lookman.
Grassi's a late bloomer.
Yeah, but now I look at Lookman and go, he's had so many spells in the Premier League to have his chance, and he's not. For me, him and Sancho should stay in Europe. They should not come to the Premier League.
Well, people said people looked at Grealish saying, "Oh, Grealish should have stayed at Villa. He went to Man City."
No, but Grealish is a different. Yeah, but Grealish is a different kettle of fish. He's played here.
Grealish had no output at Man City. So
they'll get
Grealish. And
no, it's different. Grealish has proven it in the Premier League.
Now he is. But when he was at Man City, people were questioning.
But he had proved it. No, but he hadn't proved it for one season. Last season,
a couple seasons. What was his output? What was his best season? He
won the treble. He was contributing to the team.
No, but that was the team, bro. You can't say that.
No. I'm not. But Lookman was available. Why is the top club and no top clubs going after him? Huh?
Yeah, well, no, but he's done it at Champions League level. He got the hat trick in the final at Europa. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not like he's not done it at that level. I'm saying when he was at the Prem, he went from Italy. I'm saying he was a young Don. He went to Italy I'm saying some people are late bloomers. He was coached better, and now you're seeing the fruits of his labor. You're seeing the output now. Do you know what I'm saying? For 3 seasons in Italy,
So
boom,
so
boom,
he went okay. So
player of the
his
year
career,
as well.
his career.
With us in the same
So he
African
was at
player of the year.
Everton. So but he was at
I'm
Everton
just counting the
for
Premier
2
League
years, which he
because
was
the Premier
young.
League.
Okay.
At the Premier League, he wasn't
But
obviously.
you have to. But he's going to come back to the Premier League. He's going to come back to the Premier League.
Yeah, but now he's mature.
And the reason why I use Sancho.
He's matured. He's travelled. Some players need to go abroad to come back to come. To
Yeah, but he was good. But he was good at he had a decent time at Leipzig, which he did. He didn't.
I don't know, man. He's still young. When he was Leipzig, he was still young.
Yeah, but he was still good. He had a good time at Leipzig. He had a decent output, and then he went to Fulham and Leicester, and he didn't do anything there.
He wasn't even look. His output weren't crazy.
Okay, yeah, but look at Semenyo. Semenyo's gone to Bournemouth and pulling down trees. What? Why not?
Yeah. Okay. So what? Semenyo's had a season and a half, I'd say.
Yeah,
one whole season.
And then he went to Atalanta, and then Gasperini got hold of him.
Remember, how old is Semenyo? 25, right? 26, 25, 26.
Yeah, something like that.
So where was that season before he had that good season?
So Lookman's 20. Lookman's going to be 28 this year.
When he was 24, when he was 23, when he was 22, when he was 21, when he was 20, when he was 19. Where was Semenyo? Where was Semenyo? What was he doing? Huh?
He was at Bristol.
Bristol, exactly. He was.
But what I'm saying is, Lookman's never proven it over here, and that's where I'm.
Yeah,
that's
I know.
What I'm getting
some players they need to go and be. They need to be.
And then that's why I'm always saying, like, you can go abroad, and there's some certain players that are suited to playing abroad than they are here. And for me, Lookman is one of them.
I just look at his profile in terms of where he finishes the goals.
Because he's played the last 2 games for Atalanta as well, hasn't he?
He's played on the left, he's played in the central, like a false 9, he's played on the right. And every position that you put him in, he's delivered.
I actually think you're both right. I think you're both right. But the only thing I would say about what Marlon's saying is how many wingers were signed for 50, 60 million this year? Kudos, Madueke, Gittins, loads of them went for that price and nobody wanted Lookman. I don't know why. I'm just saying nobody wanted Lookman. And everybody went for that price.
Yeah, there's more to it. And that's why I think if Lookman comes here, I don't think he does anything.
I don't know. People didn't want to buy Semenyo. Why didn't Semenyo go last season?
I think Arwell wants to say
now people kicking their heads.
But people didn't want to buy Semenyo because he signed the contract in the summer. That was the reason why nobody went for him.
Yeah, but
because Spurs came in, but he was going to go.
People could have still. Arwell wants to say something, but it's a little bit quiet.
I think his mic's quiet.
Oh, sorry.
So I did interrupt you.
Yeah, go on, bro. Sorry.
Can you still not hear me now?
Yeah, a little bit.
No, we can hear you, my brother. We're waiting for you to speak.
Oh, I thought you not couldn't hear nothing this whole time.
No,
I wasn't even really listening to the conversation. I was trying to fix my situation. Go on.
No, I agree. Actually, I think he will be a good signing for us. But I just think that there's a reason why nobody else has gone in for him. I hear you. You know
what it is? It's because I'll tell you why they didn't want to go in for him. It's because of the obligation and the option in terms of teams wanted to take a loan on him. Do you know what I'm saying? Atalanta were like, no, we want to sell him. We don't want him as a loan or obligation. Sorry, we don't want him as an option.
Doesn't that mean there's some sort of risk? Because they was happy to go with Madueke. They were happy to go with Kudos. They were happy to go with Gittins. They were happy to go with Garnacho. They were like, these are all players and wingers that are roundabout.
Even Madueke, who Arsenal fans didn't want, and he's proven to he's been great for them as well. Why Saka's been out, but there must be a sole reason why nobody is going after him.
Well, whether you believe in the paper talks, he has an attitude problem. Yeah. That's all I hear. And he's fallen out with a few of his previous managers.
Gasperini's the only one.
Whether that plays a part in it.
But is he really the only winger in the world? Because I keep hearing this always comes down to like Lookman. Like,
he's not the only winger.
I have a list. I have Lookman, Adeyemi, Matoma, Morgan Rodders. Bro, there's bare.
Look, we're definitely improved.
Grealish improves us.
Sancho would improve us. But it's like
Personally, I think we should just go for Morgan Rogers. I don't see why we can't put the 90 million
Because
down.
for me, Morgan Rogers is not a left winger; he's a central midfielder.
Yeah.
However, is there a world where, because for Aston Villa he plays on the left, he does play on the left free. So is there a world where we put Morgan Rogers on the left and we play it a little bit different?
I think that depends on.
I think he's a good option personally.
I want Savino.
No, but you know what? Let me be so real, innit? Morgan Rogers fits the age profile, and he's Premier League proven. You know, this was the biggest thing for this transfer window, right? Premier League proven, you know. And I think Morgan Rogers is a perfect candidate. And if we can't get Morgan Rogers, why don't we go for Matoma? Matoma's across the road.
Just try and go put the money down. Boom, here's 75.
Matoma's like 80 million. They said they wanted 80 million from Matoma, and he's 28.
How much did they say?
80 million, isn't it? I think he's 28 going on 29.
I don't think Rodgers is the guy.
I don't see a world of us getting another left winger in January. I just don't see a world because the thing is though, they like Alderbear, right? They like Alderbear, yeah, right? And they're gonna have a soft spot for Tell, right? And what are you gonna do with Mawani? What are you gonna do with Mawani? So I would love to get because I you know my thoughts on this front three. I've been saying it for a long time. I wasn't happy about the front three a long time ago, right? Solanke's been bang average.
Let's put Brennan Johnson back out there. At least he scores goals. Put Brennan out there. At least he scores goals.
Well, Brendan Johnson, I think, should be up front in my opinion because I've been saying it. I've been saying it because he's just wasted on the wing because he goes.
Well, Alex, right? Also the thing is you got to consider they came out. I know Levy's gone, but the club came out and they said they want to win Premier Leagues and they want to win Champions Leagues, and so they're gonna go big in January. Unless the man are just gassing, I don't know.
But
also, if that's the case, then it goes back to my other point. Then my other point that the spotlight's on Thomas Frank then, and the pressure's on him then.
Why is it not on the board then?
It's on the board.
They're the ones that made a comment.
Yeah, but no, I'm just saying if that is the case, and they get the players in January,
right?
Then the spotlight. I don't want to hear any more about the ownership and money and all this. Because that's what Tottenham fans do now. Because we're business people and finance people, not actually the football people, football fans. Let's just look at it like that. If that happens, then there's a different spotlight on Thomas Frank. Then
I don't think Rodgers works, and the reason I don't think he works, especially if Spence is your left back, everything's coming in field too much. Yeah, we tried that with Simmons, we tried it with Spence, it don't work. So unless Udogie's your left back, I don't think you're getting a winger that's constantly going to come in field. You're going to at least get a winger that will sit on the byline on occasions or something like that. But yeah, I don't think Rodgers is unbelievable. And again, you could be a good player but not fit a system, right? And this is, I like what you said, Alex, about them liking Odebear. That's cool. They're going to like Odebear, but guess what? If someone turns around and says to Frank, "Here's Semenyo, do you want Odebear or Semenyo?" Do you know what he's going to say, innit? He's going to say, "I like you, Odebear, but you're not going to be playing."
Get those top players.
You best say Semenyo.
Sorry, you go on. I continue to say.
Even with Odebear, yeah.
No,
Alex,
go
for it.
Makes
sense to just leave him out on the wing now because really and truly, they're all like none of them are really above Tell or whoever you're going to put there. They're all kind of similar levels. So you might as well just stick with Tell. Let him build a relationship. Stick with Udogie. Let them build the relationship up until Christmas or New Year's and whatever. Get into January. Hopefully, if we can sign anything, like somebody on the panel earlier said, I think January's. I think box office that said, I think January's going to be a bit tight to get that super winger that I feel like we want. That for that kind of side. If we can, then you get me. I'm here for it. But I think we'll be a bit tight to get that kind of player. 80 million, big winger, big transfer. I don't know, but if it can happen, obviously I'm all for it. But yeah, I think we should just stick with Alderweireld for right now. Keep him out there. Just let him build up. Let him see. Let us just give him that run of games. What's the point of taking him off? Because who are we going to swap him for? Put Xavi out there. Xavi just isn't as effective out there as he is in the middle. Maybe not every game, but I just feel like on the left, it's too. For me, I don't think they're stinkers. I think people overdo it a little bit, but it's not the same as when he's in the 10. So I think if we're going to play him, just let him play in the 10 where he's going to play. Let Odegaard play as the left winger. Yes, he's crap, But if he builds up and whatever, we don't know what we can get from him. Say November or December, what kind of player he could be by then. I don't think he'll really change.
But how much output do you not think Xavi gets this season? In his first season?
I don't know. I don't know
if
he'll get
goals and assists. Like how much?
I don't know. Maybe mid. I think maybe
5, 6, yeah.
But
5,
I think the problem is with Xavi Simons, everyone overhyped him at the start. And that's the problem with Tottenham fans, the most deluded fan base in the Premier League by none, and I still stick by that every single day, even though we're Europa League winners. But the point is, though, is that because everyone was overhyping him, saying that he's going to do this, he's going to do that. We won the transfer window because we've got Xavi Simons, we've got Arnett Everson, you know what I mean? Not Ericsson in the building, right? That's why now people are saying what they're saying right now, you know what I mean? You know? Which, again, like, when you see what Wirtz is doing at Liverpool at the moment, well, you know what I mean? It's like, he needs to settle in, doesn't he? You know? I think there's a fitting in.
Have you not been happy with him, though, would you say? Would you say, like, you're not really...
It's not that I understand that it's going to take time for him to settle in. That's all I'm saying at the moment.
Well, what do you think Kulusevski comes in and puts up a challenge for the number 10 role?
Yeah.
Because
I think there's going to be players that are coming back, and I don't think there's going to be a few players that are going to be very disappointed in January.
I don't think Kulusevski comes back the same. You know, when he came back from the last
he won't come back the same.
He took some time to get back to what we saw of him.
Yeah, but he won't come back the same.
Like, eventually, who gets that number 10? Like, because obviously we've got Maddison. He's not here this season, but I'm talking about Kulusevski and obviously Xavi. Between those two, are they fighting for the number 10 role, or is it going to be Kudos, right wing? He stays there. Kulusevski maybe rotates with a Kudos, or is Kulusevski a number 10 from now on? Like, is he just going to be?
I think it's going to be either number 10 or on the right, because I think Bergval's in the equation. You know what I feel about Bergval. I think he's just he's a prodigy. So I'm not like some of these other ones that think he's the world class player in 2 minutes, right? So like, yeah, I think it's going to be between him, Bergval, and possibly Xavi Simons, and don't discount Sarr in this as well.
I'll be honest.
Discount Sarr, but I don't think Sarr is that sort of player. I don't think Sarr should be in that number 10 role whatsoever.
I don't think we're going to have first 11. I generally don't think we're going to have first 11. When you look at how Frank plays, what systems he plays, how he switches things up, how he wants different players to operate differently, and also if we're playing in the Champions League, I've said this from the start of the season. In 1 week, we could have Real Madrid away and Burnley at home. We're not going to be playing the same midfield and the same forwards in the same game. We're not going to be doing that. So there might be games where no, that's what I'm saying. But there might be some games where you want to hold it up more, where you bring in your physically powerful players like Kudos and Kulusevski. There might be other games where we just need to break open someone. So therefore, Maddison and Xavi both play. Like, I think there's different.
Wait. But do you think though, like, just talking about positionally, you know, like Kulusevski as a 10, he's more of a right 10, so he likes to drift into the right pocket. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
And Kudos is a right winger, but he likes to cut into that space.
They'll operate the same. I think they'll operate the same space, both of them.
Isn't that a conflict of interest if they're both hitting the same space, or do you think they're intelligent enough that they won't get in each other's way? How does that look? Like,
again, it comes down to relationships, right? It comes down to how much they play together and whether they trust each other and all of that. But I think both of them could play together.
I think at the moment that because of what Frank's doing at the moment, I don't think they're going to be playing together. I think one of the two is going to play together. One of the two is.
What you're hoping is by the time Kulusevski comes back, that Simons has basically cemented that place.
Yeah,
and then it's going to be very difficult. And
but
as well.
I don't know.
There's a slight possibility that he goes on the left.
So wait. Is there a world? Would anyone say, like, supposing Kulusevski came back, he just wasn't the same? Would anyone like sell him or swap him out?
You might have to. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't sell him. I think he's too important.
Let me
for
put
Tottenham.
this: would you swap Kulusevski for Gordon from Newcastle?
100%. He would be
Gordon.
Gordon.
Kulusevski for
Gordon.
Gordon. Yeah,
Gordon
in a
would do
heartbeat,
wonders
bro.
in this team.
You know what? I'll travel him up.
But what's
want
nuts?
to know,
We've got on
Yo,
the right
kudos.
side.
I love you, my brother,
love
but
you,
listen,
On the
there's
right
an
side, you've got
upgrade.
Kulusevski and Kudos. In the middle, you've got Madison and Simmons. And on the left, you've got Bill and Ben or whoever you want. It don't really make a difference.
To
But
be
none of them are
fair,
anywhere near it.
To be fair, I think Madison's time might be the one that's up.
Same, I would tell him.
Yeah,
man.
he's
He's
the one that's
going to
gonna
go.
go.
I think
30 years old,
Madison.
ACL.
Yeah, ACL. It depends on how he comes back.
It's dark as well,
You
isn't
don't
it?
think Madison adapts his game because he's like the one that.
Nah,
He'll
it's
come back
too
and get
dark.
another
Hold on,
injury.
hold on. Wait. I know you lot are disagreeing. You're all disagreeing. I don't know what box office is saying, but the difference between a Madison and a Kulusevski is the pass.
Yep,
the pass.
agreed.
The pass. Kulusevski ain't got that in him. Do you know what
No,
I'm
he
saying?
hasn't. But
He's
Madison,
more of a ball carrier.
but if it depends on how if Simmons ends up becoming the player we all expect him to be. I think it might be quite difficult for Madison to one come back and be the same player that he was, and two to be sitting behind Simmons in the pack. I know we rotate, but if Simmons is going to be that guy, he's majority going to play in that position 30 times out of 38.
Xavi Simmons is going to replace Madison. Is that what we're saying?
Eventually, yeah.
That should be the goal.
100%. I agree. When we signed
Everyone's
Xavi
asking
Simmons,
Simmons
I
to
thought
play in.
that was Madison's
everyone's
one.
asking Simmons to play in Madison's position right now, and that's the one that he's got to develop in, and he can't make his own. So I get they're different type of tens, but I just think with Madison, I don't know what my concern is with him is when you come back from injuries like this, is how long. If Madison comes back and it's great and he turns out to be all great and wonderful, brilliant. But for me right now, I'm thinking if Spurs are trying to move into the future and trying to compete for top four and getting these younger players in, Madison could be the fall guy in all this.
Is there a chance Madison could adapt and play a deeper role?
TJ. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, but
exactly.
But then you're looking at a bit.
A deep line passer. Deep line.
Slap him next to Paulinho and let him pass up the ball and that.
I don't think he gets around the pitch enough for Frank's system. I think that's the problem.
He'd be brilliant. He'd be brilliant right now. Madison would be perfect for the 10. He'd be absolutely brilliant. It's just unfortunate that he's going to be out for how long he's going to be out for, and then he's got to try and recover.
Yeah, but I think there is a role for somebody.
And you've got to be ruthless. No, but you've all said he's got to be ruthless, and these decisions he's going to have to be ruthless. I think we're going to move. We're going to be looking for replacements probably next summer, and you can't, in our heads, you can't really guarantee that he's going to come back.
I agree with you, right? But I do think there's an option. I think there is a role for a midfielder, right? Because remember, I think people completely forget, that there was a Dembele back in the day, right? And I think Kudos is that guy. I think Kudos is fitted for that role 110%. For me, I think he's got that in him all day long. For me, I think
the middle of the park,
100%.
Because I can see where you're coming from.
You know, people might disagree with me, but I'm sorry, but this is what it's down to interpretation as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean?
So if Kudos is right, if you've got Kudos as the midfielder, where does Kulusevski play?
On the right.
So you're going to have Kulusevski as the right
on the wing.
He wants some central, doesn't he? Box office said he wants some central, so Kudo on the right.
Okay.
So that
but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen this season. I don't think that's going to happen this season. No.
I think Spurs.
But there's a chance. There's a chance we don't even see the system, though. Look, there's also a chance that Frank changes his system. So we're ideally seeing it like, Madison, Kulusevski, Simmons, one of them is going to be the 10. Who knows? We might even play with 2 10s. Like, we don't know. This is why it's too soon to judge. We don't actually know what Frank is actually going to do.
I think you're possibly right. I think he will play with the 2 10s, but it's going to be Bergvall and Simmons will be those 2 10s.
I don't disagree with you. I do think Bergvall does need. I think Bergvall is looking good because of Paulinho. Paulinho's been making him look good, right? The thing I like about Bergvall, which the other players don't do, and this is what is so good when you're at the stadium, is that he runs. He makes runs.
Hold on. By the way, yeah, you said he weren't ruthless, but Bergval's completely come out the team since he's dropped off a cliff with his form recently as well. By the way,
Listen, no.
How Thomas Frank?
It's
Proving every single one of your points wrong in this one episode.
Because there are things.
Sava, clip him up. Yes, clip him up later.
Why do you need to bring Sava into this conversation?
Because he's in the chat.
Sava, yeah, he's in the chat. Yeah, but it's like, you know what I mean. Anyway, moving on.
You put him up at the beginning.
You need someone to appreciate you. I don't want to rattle him. I don't want to banter him, Marlon. But I like you. I love you, Marlon. You're my boy, Marlon. Yeah. I can't do that. But the point is anyway. Big up Sava boy every single time. Anyway, even though I rattled him last time I spoke to him. But anyway, moving on. Yeah. Listen, the thing is though, yeah, right. I'm just saying. I just think at the moment. I just think with Bergval. Yeah, I was back on Bergval. Yeah, I think. Yeah, he makes runs. That's what I like about him. Yeah, that goal against West Ham was really good. Okay, not gonna go over the top like certain people did. And that goal that was unfortunately offside against Wolves, right? When he played it off to Kudos, I was at the stadium. If that went in,
oh jeez, yeah.
Oh my gosh, oh jeez. Honestly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, but I just think at the moment, yeah, I think it's like I say. I think the midfield options at the moment, it just needs developing at the moment.
The reason why I'm not sure about, does anyone think that if we go with 2 10s, right, in Bergval and Xavi, yeah, do we? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do we look lightweight in that midfield? Do we lack physicality? Do we look vulnerable?
No, Paulinho.
No, I don't think so. I think Paulinho carries enough physicality. When he's in there, he's got a different presence to the rest of some of them. Even down to players that you would think, like a Bentancur, you would think he carries some kind of presence, physicality. He doesn't. When Paulinho is in there, I think there is that kind of stuff.
It'd be more 8s, wouldn't it? Because 10s would be Kudos. Yeah.
Because go back to the Burnley game where it was Archie Gray, Bergval, and look how that worked. Even though Archie Gray, I completely said he was non-existent in the game, but look how that works as the two number 10s. Well, number 10, number 8, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It can work. It's going to be who the opposition is. And that's where I think it falls
you're coming up against 100%.
Yeah, because you're not going to play 2 10s against Arsenal. You're not going to. It would be so stupid to. But
in that case, I think Frank is a good coach and a good manager because
this
what
is why
he's doing very well is he's rotating the squad.
And I think he's got Leeds spot on Saturday.
And he's going to mash stuff up. He's going to do things wrong. He's going to put... I think a big part of why we lost versus Bournemouth is because he tried out Brendan Johnson on the left.
Too many things.
These are things he's just going to do. I think we lost a lot there. I'm not saying we gained that much with Odegaard. I'm not saying that either, but just a little bit more I feel like we would gain in situations.
Yeah, no, I think there's a bit more technicality from Johnson to Odegaard. I think there's a little bit more.
Yeah, there's a technical.
Yeah.
Bit of a rise.
Yeah, a bit of a rise there. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not even if you look at Tell and Richarlison, as much as you say Teletubby Tell,
there's a tech with Tell that Richarlison have.
Let me tell you, I'm going to trademark that thing. That's my go-to name, Teletubby Tell.
Am I allowed to
yeah, you can use it, but if you start getting paid for it, I want the P, by the way.
I know if I trademark it fast, you get me. If I trademark it fast,
yeah, go for it, man. Go for it.
I want to let these people go now.
Ash, what do you want to say? What do you want to say?
Yeah.
No. That's it. That's what I was gonna say. I just was saying with that level, slightly because with Tell played with Odegaard in the under 21s. Odegaard played with Xavi at PSG
in the PSG.
So what I'm saying is small relationships. There's a small level of technical flaw, minimal, not a lot, but it's still better than what Richarlison
100%
up top, and then Johnson on the left was bringing, like in possession. So maybe Frank's thinking the next few games, whether it's good or bad, should we just let these players continue on and form a relationship rather than chopping and changing all the time?
I think continue, form the relationships, build the relationship.
Or
chopping and changing thing. We've got to test things out. I hear it. It's early days. We've got to test things. But I think we've had some tests. I think there's certain things that we can see now. I think there's certain
the only concern I would say to that point, again, I think you're so right to say, look, we just have to trial it and just keep the same team so it can build momentum so Frank can coach these players, right?
Yeah.
The only concern that I would say to that point is based on you've got a big squad. And for me, there's certain members of this squad that maybe are on the fringe. Or like example, I'll give you a good example. Danso, for example. Yes, he had one bad game. But through since Danso's touched the Tottenham pitch, he hasn't really been bad. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So although you want to keep your team the same, you've got players in your toolkit to use, right? And the biggest concern for us moving forward is that winger position. We clearly know that's our weakest position. The left side, we don't know if it's Teletubby Tell, Alderberg, and it's getting to the point where we definitely need a winger. But I also agree with Mr. Box Office. I don't think we're gonna get a winger.
Because
you know what? I don't believe it. You know why I don't believe it? Because for me, you don't buy Teletubby Tell with, and it goes back down to the CV thing that I'm saying, innit? There must be some sort of standard for you to play for Tottenham. And for me, players like Teletubby Tell and Alderberg are not at the standard for Tottenham. Again, they might have high ceilings, right? But you expect some sort of standard. Look, example.
They are here, and there's
and I'm gonna say something really dark, and people disagree with me. Has and Eugene disagreed with me, but in a heartbeat, and this is how dark it is, I would have Werner in this team.
And on that
a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. You know why? Werner, you know the reason being, I can see what Werner offers on the pitch in that winger role. We know that he will run with the ball. Whether he's terrible or not.
Okay.
Sorry?
How do we get to Timo Werner, that below average Shane? How do we get to him?
I'm gonna know, but my point. Hear my point. Innit? You might disagree in it.
TJ, let people know where they can find you with disillusion or reasons why you want to sign Werner. Come on.
Okay, cool. Wait. Hear me out. Hear me out for a minute. Yeah, hear me out. Let me actually land so you understand where I'm coming from. Timo Werner actually, you know what he offers on the pitch. He runs at the play. Whether we like him or not, I don't like Timo Werner. I wanted him out. However, what is Tell and Alderberg doing that is better than Timo Werner? In fact, in my understanding, Timo Werner is a better player than both of these players. They might have a bigger ceiling than Timo Werner. Maybe Frank can develop them to this person. But for me, in a heartbeat, I will have Timo Werner on the wing.
You're lying, innit?
It's dark.
The last thing I want to say, guys, is listen, every manager will make mistakes. Every manager will do something that we don't agree with. We do it in hindsight. Every manager has a stinker. We have a stinker. TJ's just had an absolute stinker.
You think it's a stinker? Seriously? No, seriously. Okay. Oh wait, no. But logically,
TJ, no. We'd rather be in the situation we are now with nobody than have Werner back.
But Teletubby and Alderberg don't offer nothing. Now, I'll be honest with you, they don't. They're terrible.
Not as Werner. So we're back to square one.
At least Werner offers running forward, beating the defender. One thing that he was good at was running at the defender. That's something he offers. It's dark, but it's true. It's dark, but it's true.
How do we get to Timo Werner but not average Shane? How do we get to this guy? We had to talk about Daniel Levy, who's gone. We had to talk about Ash Postecoglou, who's gone. And now we're talking about Timo Werner, that below average Shane.
Luke, let people know where they can find you, bro.
Just here I'm just gonna be here forever. Yeah, I'm on Instagram, X, YouTube, everything. Spotlight on Spurs. We do a show every Thursday, so it'd be great to see you all there. But there'll be no Werner talk in my chat. There'll be none of it, none of that. Thanks again for having me on.
TJ on. You love Werner. No problem. TJ.
Nah,
where can people
let me make it clear in it. I
this?
don't want Werner back at Tottenham, yeah.
But the
wingers we have are absolutely pony.
Werner. Where can people
They're on the same
TJ?
level as Werner. Let's be real.
Please can I have Lucas Moura back? Can I have Lucas Moura back, please? I'd love Lamella back in my team right now. Anyway, moving on. Sorry. Oh my
yeah,
God.
man. You can find me on Spurs, innit? And yeah, man, thanks for having me on. It's good to be back on this channel, man. It feels a bit like I feel like a legacy.
You've left the Werner legacy, boy.
100%, man. I left it with a splash. I was going so well, man. I had to like do some deluded thing, man. But no, but serious note, man. Thank you for having me on, innit? And look, come on, let's give Frank time. That's all I would say. Look, I'm gonna give him 2 years. That's what I said. I'm clear to say that. But yeah, man, thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure.
R1.
Yeah, man. Obviously, Marlon, Ash, thank you for having me on again, bro. You can just catch me at R1OP on Twitter, chat a lot of rubbish on there, so you can just get me, follow, look at what I'm doing and all that stuff there. But yeah, as I say with Frank, just let Frank sit down, take his shoes off a bit, man. Let's all calm down. It's 10 games or however many games it is, 8 games, whatever. We're third in the league. Could be a lot worse, man. I think we've gone through some times and that, so let's try and enjoy this and go forward, man.
Well, you promoted it like 6 times on the show, box office. Do you want to go again?
No. Like I said, I know we have a bit of banter with you and Marlon, yeah.
Of course, me and you always have banter.
You're my boy, innit? Yeah, and you know, I've got, you're my boy, Ashmatic, yeah. Big up to Luke as well, but reaching, yeah, when people thought that I was disappeared, you know what I mean? Because they thought my existence was gone, which was never going to go because no one's going to get rid of me anyway, even they think they rattle me. Saba. But anyway, moving on. Big up to you, by the way. But yeah, big up to Mr. Box Office TV. It's still going. And it's going solo. You haven't seen me on shows because I'm going solo. You know what I mean? Because I'm seeing the same things that I saw the last 6 years doing YouTube. So why am I going to go on the show and listen to deluded Tottenham fans tell me something I don't know already? You know what I mean? So I'm doing other things. I'm doing less reactive content, not listening to other people, only listening to the sensible ones. And you're not seeing me rattle people on chats as well, really, because when I get on the show, people they get worried because they know what Mr. Box Office is like, very cheeky. You know what I mean? But it's Mr. Box Office TV, the professor of truth and entertainment, the ratings killer. You can't say the main event because there's only one main event, Jey Uso, WWE, so I can't say that name anymore. So yeah, so it's X-rated, and if you can't handle it, watch it. Take that. Big up everybody, and if you don't know, get to know. Back to you, Marlon. I'm done.
Anyway, on that note, thanks, Alex, as always. So yeah, big up to people putting super chats tonight. So Big Brown again for How'd You Become a Top Manager? Big up. As always, the man who supported this channel from when he came back onto YouTube. But big up to Saba. Thank you for your super chat earlier. Did I read it out? I don't think I did. What am I listening to? We are the 3rd top scorers in the league, 2nd best defense in the league, and sitting in 3rd. And we're so bloody ungrateful to Frank Kudos. Can't play on the left. Poor isn't a manager. A winger, sorry. There you go.
And the same guy that did like Conte, but this is playing like Conte as well. This is Conte ball. So
And then,
Sam,
ask you-
again,
did I ask
I
you- did I
love
ask you to answer
the
it?
fact you've got all this
Did I
energy,
ask you to
bro.
answer it?
I love this energy, bro.
Did I
I
say
love this energy, bro.
he's triggered?
Yeah?
He's triggered, isn't he?
Because
He's
no, I'm not triggered. No,
triggered.
I'm not triggered. I'm not triggered because it's
I
like
did
this
not-
energy,
did-
bro. Is
did-
lovely.
did I
Yeah,
ask you to
lovely,
answer it?
bro.
Did I
Yeah, for
ask you to
someone that's
answer it?
playing like Conte, let that sink in. Let that sink in. Back to you, mother. I'm done.
I did ask you to answer it, but hey ho. We also had the super sticker from Destiny 5. Big up Destiny 5. He was comedy gold for me yesterday on my stream with Mitch. So big up to Destiny 5. And then big up to C-Max, who became a member for 12 months again, become a Royal Family member, and also won our competition when we hit 3,000. So big up to him. Also, big up to everyone who's tuned in tonight. Thank you as always, and please make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Ash, tell them about tomorrow.
Yeah, man. Tomorrow we go again. Got some things to talk about, you know. Ekatike, Verts, you know, maybe a little Isaac. Who knows? Yeah, man. Rivals, we're back on. So yeah, come check us out, man. It's a bit of banter there, rival talk. And yeah, same place, same time, Wednesday, 10 p.m, man. Be there, be circle there. But big up. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button on the way out. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
And now, come on, you Spurs.